liberties, all the people don't have freedom, all the people don't have justice, all the people don't have power, so that means none of us do.
Yes, indeed. Peace and love, family. Certified. Salute. Black Alpha. We in the building. Got the family with me. I already see the family done touchdown super early, and we going to be in here super deep, and we going to drop some super game on them, family. Much love and respect to everybody. To all of my family that's going to be listening on YouTube, I need you to go ahead and put them area codes and them zip codes in the chat. Let everybody know where you at, and let them know where the hell you cannot be deported from. That part. Fam, let's get straight to business. Black Americans can't be deported. You know it. I know it. The whole world know it. The only people running around here trying to say that are the Democrats. That's it. Remember, fam, out of every single person on the planet Earth, there's only one group of people trying to push that bold-faced lie, and that's the Democratic Party. And why are they saying that? They're saying that because they want to trick you to put on a cape for illegal immigrants, so illegal immigrants can vote for them and they can get back in office and provide tangible for said illegal immigrants. You know exactly what it is. But I got a proposition right now, fam, and I'm going to say this clear. I got a challenge, better yet. I challenge anybody who believes that Black Americans can be deported. I challenge them to volunteer to self-deport away from America, they goddamn self. How about that one? Deport Democrats. Damn that. Anything someone else says is all cap, it's all a lie. I'm for the deportation of any Democrat that tries to tell Black Americans that we can be deported, because somebody gonna get deported. It needs to be them. Because when I'm looking at the Democrats, I see the tethercrats. I see a hell of a lot of non-Black Americans trying to push policies on real Black Americans that we don't go for. So if they want to talk about people that can be deported, how about themselves? How about every single Democrat right now gives up their citizenship and they deport their damn selves? How about that? I'm all for it. I'm all for it, family. Deport every Democrat. Yep, you can send them on out of here. Ketanji Brown Jackson, she can be gone. Kamala Harris, she could be gone. Barack Obama, he can be gone. First off, they not really Black, but since the Democrats tell us that these are Black people, remember, the Democrats said Kamala was Black. Well, she needs to go. I'll see you later. Peace out. Barack Obama gone. And by the way, they all got immigrant backgrounds. Ain't it funny that the Democrats tell us that we can be deported and we ain't got no immigrant background? But all of those melanated immigrants that are Democrats who all have immigrant backgrounds, they don't never say they know. So this whole Black folks can get deported, that only applies to real Black Americans. It don't apply to all of them immigrants that are in the Democratic Party. Hell no. Deport every fucking Democrat as far as I'm concerned. I don't give a damn. Said this last night to my family when we was broadcasting live heavy. I want y'all to know Democrats are putting a target on your back. Oh, we're going to put an end to this today, because I'm going to say something a lot of people ain't talking about. Everyone's out here saying, well, Black folks can't get deported, this, that, and the other thing. We understand that. That's the small fry to this situation. Let me tell you the major part of this situation, brothers and sisters. The fact that they keep running around here trying to put that jacket of deportation on us, that ain't doing nothing but putting a target on our chest. That's all that is. You don't go around and tell people who are American citizens that they can be deported, because eventually somebody's going to try to treat us like an illegal immigrant. Isn't it funny that on one hand, the Democrats tell you that ICE is Gestapo, Donald Trump is Hitler, and MAGA are the Nazis? So they'll tell us how violent ICE is, and then they'll turn around and say, oh, ICE gonna get y'all Black folks too. Sound like you making the block hot for us. Sounds like you just put a big ass target on our back. Don't sit there and tell me how violent ICE is and then turn around and tell me ICE is gonna come get me. That's basically you sending out a dog whistle, go get them Black folks. Oh, it's deeper than them just lying, y'all. It's way deeper than that. These folks are trying to get Black Americans unalived. Point blank, period. Because eventually somebody's gonna show up And they're going to hear the Democrats say all that stuff about we ain't real Americans. You can just rip up the 14th Amendment, rip up the Constitution, and somebody's going to come and try to treat us as such. And somebody going to get in the process. So right now, the Democrats are actively and openly putting targets on every single black American out there. So it's way bigger than them just telling a lie. It's way bigger than the Democratic Shield. It's way bigger than every mother biscuit that you can provide. These people are putting us in danger. So we need to go ahead and nip that in the bud and chop that up real quick. And this is why I say, if anybody's going to get deported, then deport the Democrats. You're so obsessed with deportation, then I want you to be the deportation that you want to see. If you want to see deportation, then you deport. If you're so obsessed with people leaving America, then you leave America. If you're so obsessed with people being foreigners, then you be the foreigner. You denounce your American citizenship. You volunteer to go to the ICE headquarters. You put on them handcuffs and you get your ass up out of America. Be the deportation that you want to see. That's what we running with now, fam. That's how we running with it, okay? I want every time they perpetuate that bold-faced lie, you tell them, then you need to go ahead and self-deport and be the deportation that you want to see. Because what it ain't going to be is you telling a bold-faced lie to black Americans, trying to put that jacket on us, but you not going to do the same thing. Let's see how much they really love deportation. Let's see how much they really love their words. Let's see how much they stand by what they've been saying. Because if you standing by what you saying and you telling us that black folks can be deported, then I want to see all of the Democrats, the first ones in line, because we know all of that is bullshit. They're the ones telling us that it's the truth. So if it's so true, then you be the truth that you want to see, and you be the deportations that you want to see. Deport every damn Democrat till further notice. That's the type of time I'm on, fam. Because when you look at the situation in Chicago, how long we've been saying, brothers and sisters, for 4 or 5 years that they've been dumping these people into our communities? How long we've been saying it, fam? These illegals been getting dumped into our communities for the longest amount of time. And I am the only person in the new black media that provided you the statistics to the T. And I told you that of all of the sanctuary cities and all of the illegal immigrants, they get dumped in areas that occupy 80% of the black American community. Do you know what that means? That means if you want to go round up illegals and you have to go into sanctuary cities, well, then you have to go into black neighborhoods, because the liberals put those sanctuary cities right on our block. So let's make this clear. They put illegals in our communities. And then when Donald Trump and ICE go to raid these people, they point at them same illegals and say, now they rounding up black folks. So you put them in our community, and then you try to cry foul when ICE had to come into our community. That makes no sense at all, other than someone who is trying to fool you, someone who is trying to hustle you, and somebody who put a target on your back. Brothers and sisters, I want you to take it real, okay? Delineation ain't just about a bunch of tethers with no hairlines. Delineation is about also separating from anybody out there that is not doing the adequate work for us. These people is out here trying to get us harmed, because who's to say that some agents don't pull up and see a 12-year-old black kid and think that that 12-year-old black kid is an illegal, because the Democrats keep telling everybody we're illegal. Fam, nobody's talking deportation except for the Democrats. I had a white woman who was on my page today, and she said, literally, it's a white woman, okay? This is Karen number 337. And Karen number 337, she said, everybody knows that black folks cannot be deported. And if you ever see somebody getting deported with dark skin, they're probably a Haitian or a Jamaican who ain't from here. How the hell can Karen number 359, yes, she went up since I first said it. How the hell can Karen number 359 see that, know that, but ain't nobody from the Democratic Party speaking that language? Yeah, because they're out here purposely doing that. Fam, let me let you know something. Everybody knows that black Americans can't get deported. The Democrats just don't give a fuck. Because if it comes down to black Americans being unalive, being harmed, being taken out, the Democrats are okay with it. Nobody loves pain and suffering from black folks more than the Democratic Party. The Democrats wake up every day, they have them some coffee, go through the newspaper, and they try to find any black person that was harmed. Do they do that because they love the black person that was harmed? No. Do they do that because they're going to take that black person that was harmed and put their face on a campaign ad? Exactly. They love seeing black people harmed. Their whole agenda is basically, black folks, y'all all gonna be unalived if you don't vote for us. Black folks, y'all all gonna be slaves again if you don't vote for us. Black folks, you're all going to get deported if you don't vote for us. And none of the facts, none of the evidence, the statistics, or the data prove anything they're saying. Family, can somebody tell me the one video that you've seen of a black American getting deported? Damn all the other things, damn the words, damn the games. Let's just get straight to the point. Where's the video of a black person being deported? And I'm not talking about somebody they said was black in the headline, and then when you looked at the fine print, this mother was Jamaican or they was Haitian. I'm talking about, where have you seen a video that is confirmed where a black American who's indigenous, who's foundational, who's certified have been deported? There ain't none. So if there ain't none, then how the hell are they so hell-bent on telling us that we will be deported? Family, this is not only insulting, this is dangerous, and this is further means why we need to shut that damn Democratic Party down and step on them. That's the only answer now. Because I'm telling you, what's the difference between the Democrats telling everybody that we can get deported, and then eventually an agent shows up and unalives a black kid? Don't that sound the same as when these Karens call 911 and then the police show up and do what, brothers and sisters? What happens when someone makes a false phone call to 911 or to any police agency? Do the police show up with guns blazing? Does the false calling of police harm black folks? Y'all know all the swatting they were doing to black folks. Are the Democrats swatting us, y'all? Is this swatting? Because this sounds damn sure like swatting. This is swatting. They making false accusations that the whole world knows ain't true. And eventually a police officer is going to show up and unalive a black person, all based on the Democrats putting that target on your chest. You better call it out, and you better call it out full 100%. This sounds like Tamir Rice. Are the Democrats trying to Tamir Rice us, y'all? Somebody makes a phone call, police show up, and then they harm a black person. Somebody says black folks are really illegals, black folks are really immigrants, police show up, and then they harm a black person. It's the same exact thing, and if you can't draw the parallels, then you need to sit your ass down and let the real certifieds do the work. And we giving them that work because these people are out here trying to get black Americans set up for the okie doke and fall for the trap. This has always been their plan. And y'all want to know the devilish, evil, wicked part of all of that? Say that does happen, and they tell this lie about black people getting deported. They make it look like black Americans are illegal immigrants. And then say an ICE agent shows up or a police officer shows up to pursue who they think is an illegal. Because remember, y'all, illegal means criminal. Criminal means fugitive. So they're basically telling all of us that we're illegal fugitives every time they say we can get deported. You can't separate the two of them. Don't play them games with me. If somebody says that you can be deported, they're saying you're an illegal immigrant. If they're saying you're illegal, that means you're a criminal. If you're an illegal criminal who's still here, then you're a fugitive. They just wrote a check for every law enforcement agency in America to treat us like criminals. And they did it without calling us criminal one time. They don't want no smoke with Black Alpha. I'm the #1 activist for a reason. You know what the hell that means? That means you come up with some bullshit, I'm gonna see right through your. They basically told everybody that we are criminals. And guess what happens, fam? Soon as they say we criminals, police show up. And the wicked part about that is, soon as that were to happen to us, family, the Democrats are going to take that person and put their face on a campaign ad. So they set us up with a target on our chest. They set us up to be illegal, immigrant, fugitive criminals. And then when something bad happens, they're going to be the main ones crying foul, talking about, see, Donald Trump was trying to get y'all from the beginning. You can't win with these people. They put you in danger with the first lie, and then when the lie gets you hurt, they're going to take your face, and they're going to try to make money off it and get some votes. It is all one big circle spin. It's Dutch door action. That's how they play us, because they don't give a damn about our pain and suffering. They only give a damn about how they can benefit from it. Remember, y'all, 99.9% of interactions with non-Black Americans are going to be those non-Black Americans trying to hustle you for their own beneficial gain. And nobody does this worse than the Democratic Party. So when you call them out, call them all the way out. When you expose them all the way. When you swipe, get them folks all the way out the building, fam. Because I'm telling you right now, this is going to take a next step. Well, everything that you say with your mouth and all that talk you doing, somebody's going to get radicalized. They're going to get inflamed by it, and then they're going to try to go do something about it. So you keep saying that Black Americans are these illegal criminals, and there's going to be some supremacists out there that's going to say, good, that was all the fuel I needed to go attack black folks. In the system of supremacy, you don't make no damn false accusations against black Americans. Family, as all brothers and sisters right here, right now, when we got a domestic problem with our cousins, we got a domestic problem with our neighbors, our loved ones, the last thing we do is what? Call the police. Now, I'm not talking about something that's crazy, something that's out of line, something that needs to be addressed. I'm not talking about that. But if they feuding and fighting at the cookout, they beefing back and forth, you don't call the police officers. You know why? Because the police gonna show up and treat everybody like a damn criminal. Very, very finger happy. So this is why black folks do that. Everybody talk about, man, all that no snitching. Y'all need to stop. Let me give you a very, very, very quick lesson in no snitching. No snitching came from the point that black Americans didn't trust the police because we would call the police for the most minor thing, and then the police would show up on the most major aggression. So in the system of supremacy, black Americans are the only people who really understand it because we're the only people who go against it. We know false accusations against black people can result in a black person's death. And the Democrats are running around here making every type of false accusation about us. So what may that perhaps lead to, brothers and sisters? And if it leads into what you know I'm talking about, then you got every single reason in the world to regulate and shut they asses down. You only get an opening like that when you rocking with Black Alpha. Let's go to work, fam. Everybody come on up. Listen, go ahead, my sister Natural.
Good afternoon, family. So I just wanted to say you're absolutely correct about how dangerous it is by them keep saying, oh, we can be deported or, you know, and make us interchangeable with these illegals. I wanted to go over something because I know the Democratic shields are in here and they trying, you know, to create this false, fake outrage to get us back on a plantation, to get us to fight for these illegals. It's not happening. We still on the same thing. We already know these distractions is going on. We're still on the same thing. Hold your own. So I just wanted to go over this. And Democrats, this is your own fault. And again, and also, like you said, stop acting crazy. The people in Chicago begged, and all these other states begged for Tom Homan and Trump to send them in because they are in our neighborhood. Stop acting crazy, creating this fake outrage. People begged them to come in and get them because they were being taken over by these people. So I just want to go over this just for the Democrats. So y'all doing all of this. You will do all of this and put a target on our back just because y'all didn't do the right thing. So I just wanted to go and look at all of the bills that they've written for everyone else except us. So these illegals or immigrants or whatever, they have a U.S. Citizenship Act bill. They have a Farm Wealth Workforce Monetization Act bill. They have a New Deal for New Americans Act, a Dreamers and Farm Workers Status Bill. They have a Protect the Dreamers Confidentially Act bill. They have a Border Security, Economic Opportunity, Immigration Modernization Act bill, Uniting American Family Aid. So these are all things that all the Democrats, they back these bills. And this is what we have. And Democrats want to act like they don't know. You can't get us back on a plantation. This is what black people have specifically written for them. An HR 40 bill, which we already know is nothing. A study for reparations, which ain't nothing. A George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, which we know is that we still have no crime bill and we're still getting heavily policed out here based on racial biases. They have the Emmett Till Act, which was supposed to be based on lynchings and supposed to be treating lynchings as a hate crime bill, but we also know that they let Carolyn Bryant live her old racist life out without charging her. So everything that you Democrats back for us is nothing. It's a nothing burger. So don't act confused why you are here. Stop trying to create this false outrage. Stop trying to put a target on our back. Black people cannot be deported. We cannot. So I wanted to say that. Go ahead, Church.
Salute, family. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Blessings to you. Blessings to our brother, Black Alpha. Thank you for having another amazing space. Shout out to our Queen Alpha. Much love to her. Much love to my sister, Natural Torah, all dang day. I want to touch on a couple of things because, you know, Alpha and our sister Natural, y'all both said some things that are very, not just very true, but we need to dig a little bit deeper on these things, okay? Let's talk about the situation, as my brother Alpha put it, where they put these people in our neighborhoods. In case you don't know what's going on, family, the Democrats have been running this type of program for decades, where they create a problem and then come to the Black community and tell us they're the only ones that can fix the problem. We wouldn't have this issue if Joe Biden didn't bust open the floodgates to the border. They literally, quite literally, put each of these people in our neighborhoods, in our apartment buildings, they're paying for people to live in these areas. They didn't send them over to any of the Nabisco areas. They didn't send them over to anywhere that's by government property or anything like that. They made sure to put them into our neighborhoods. So now that people are seeing the deportations, you're only going to see them in one location because of the fact that they were only put in one location, and that's our neighborhoods. That is the democratic and the democratic way of moving. Create a problem and then try to blame the problem on the person in power at the time, when it was you guys who literally put a target on our backs by putting those people into our communities. And here's another thing. It is very important to understand what the Democratic Party, the messaging that they sent out to their constituents, to foundational Black Americans, the messaging that they put out to us, and they're doing it proudly. They ain't backtracking. They ain't doing none of that. The message that they put out to us is this. They are willing. They literally unanimously signed a resolution in order to honor an anti-Black staunch bigot like Chucky Kirk. But they will shut down the government to make sure their illegals get illegal health care. Let me say that again. They voted unanimously in order to honor an anti-Black staunch racist, but they will shut down the government to make sure these illegals get care that they're not even supposed to be getting. So family, these people are 100% demonic. They're demonic. You see in all these tethercrats online right now, smiling and kikiing, talking about, we told y'all Black folks, y'all said that y'all couldn't get deported, but yet y'all being detained, y'all getting detained. And the key word is detained. In the words of our brother Cameron from Paid in Full, they get detained every day, B. And nobody was saying nothing. We're over-policed every day, B. And nobody has nothing to say about it. But the second that there's anything to intertwine that has their precious illegals into it, oh, now, once again, hey, Black people, see, we told you this was going to happen. Yeah, it would happen because you put them there. You knew where they would have to come in order to get the deportations popping. So everything that you're showing us is that you got a middle finger up to us. So what makes you think that we ain't got our middle finger back up to you? And honestly, I'm borrowing middle fingers to put up. I got both of mine up, and I had to borrow my nephew's the other day because 2 just wasn't enough. Let's be very clear about that. If it's F me, then it's F you times 1,000,000. And everything that you do is going to be looked at as op behavior, period. No matter whether it's the Democrat who's in office or one of the tethercrats who are just online running their damn mouths because they want to have a I told you so moment. You ain't telling us anything. We've been in this country for so long, we already know how white supremacy works. It's you guys that are finding out. It's you guys that are seeing that, yeah, we might have some collateral damage on this side, but that's only because of the fact that you guys are the ones that created that collateral damage. And unlike these tethers, we're not slow. We're not going to point the finger this way or that way. We're going to place the blame exactly where it needs to go. The blame needs to go at the feet of the Democrats. Now, I'm going to touch on this and I'm going to pass it on. My sister Natural, she spoke about all the things that these people have done for everyone else. And even the things that are supposed to be for us have no weight to it. Let's talk about the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act. Family, over the past few weeks, let's go a month. How many people have we come across that has been found hanging from trees? And what are the people in those communities saying? What are the law enforcement in those communities saying? It's an unaliving of self. All they're doing is making sure, because really that anti-lynching act is supposed to kick in. That's supposed to become a federal case regardless of whether the state wants it to or not. It happens on the federal level, right? Biden signed it on a federal level. So whether the state wants to have an investigation or not, the DOJ is supposed to be down in every situation where there's an appeared lynching. Let's be very clear about that. But instead, they're allowing local coroners to say there's no foul play, to the point where families and friends have to do second autopsies and things like that. Even when we have things on the books that are supposed to be for us, they are not enforced. And they make sure to not enforce them, because really, they don't have any excuses when it comes to that. We're seeing more and more people being found with the history of this country. Can't nobody tell me it's just the mental health of these people. No, it's the fact that we have these laws on the books that do absolutely nothing for us, even when there's evidence to show that it pertains to their departments. They go off of what the local law enforcement says. No foul play, no foul play. But when they found that Nabisco dude, they're investigating down to the core. They still haven't put out any information on that case. And that case happened right down 100 miles away from Trey Reed. So yeah, family, we're not here to play with these people. These people tend to think that we're stupid enough to just allow them to come and manipulate us. That time is over. I'll pass it back to you, family.
Hey, EJ, I'm going to let you go. I was actually going to say that, Church, in regards to that Emmett Till bill, it's so crazy that you would think that as soon as with all the hanging/lynching that's been going on, that would initiate a crime bill specifically for us, but here they are trying to get us out there to fight for these illegals. It's not happening, Captain. It's not happening, because we still don't. Yeah, okay, let's put aside reparations. Y'all don't even want to write an anti-black crime bill specifically for us, and you're allowing all these police stations or these law enforcement agencies to get away with calling these sides just so you don't have to do anything. So go ahead, EJ.
Thank you for letting me speak, sister. Shout out to Brother Black Alpha Network. Shout out to everybody in the building. This is coming back on the Democrats. Their chicken's coming home to roost. And I'm so glad. Yeah, they already know that Black Americans can't be deported. They just out here trying to fearmonger to, the old Negroes in our community, because, they scared of the big bad Democratic boogeyman. They use every scare tactic amongst our people. But when it comes to these deportations, I know they punching the air like Treyoff boys in the hood. They're trying to keep these illegal alien savages in the country, but knowing damn well that these people have been causing mischief since they got here. Ain't no country in the world is going to tolerate this situation that's going on with these illegal immigrants. They have policies and they have rules and they have order in these countries when it comes to illegal aliens infiltrating their homeland, let alone getting in their politics. So, I blame the United States of America, the government. I really blame both sides, because, you could have really been enforcing the law and really been doing right by the American people, preferably the foundation of Black American family. But, with these deportations going on and these, Democratic cheddars, which I know they down there in the garbage bin, drinking up all the juice and stuff from the bottom of the trash can. A lot of these people are too scared to come up and go one on one with the great one, let alone my dual wield bamboo stick. But I'm gonna be real reasonable in this space because I could have really said something that I really didn't want to, but I'm gonna be all right for my brother Black Alpha. But the moral of the story is that these people will use anything, and I do mean anything, to try to keep us off balance and try to keep us off our main goal, which is fighting for reparations and getting our tangibles. Because this is an everyday war, and this is everything that they try to do. They use these scare tactics amongst our people. They use these situations with these unalivings, these hangings, to try to get us off balance. But when something happens in their community with these Nabiscos, these crushed rich, they want to start putting supremacists on coins, make holidays. Hell, they might even make a Charlie Kirk movie in a couple of years. He was just that special to these that another man from their community took him out. That's how special he was. Because we already know that supremacy isn't really, structured amongst their people, because there can only be one for white supremacists. All of them are going to either turn on each other or just cause mischief and have mayonnaise spraying all over the place. They don't know anything about order, let alone having any unity amongst their people. Yeah, they have unity amongst their people when it comes to, handling Black Americans, let alone other people that amongst them. They're trying to be honorary supremacists. But when it comes to them actually trying to do something better for their community, they so chaotic and so evil, they can't process anything positive amongst their community. They doing all type of weird stuff. So I just suggest that, the family stay prepared, especially the sister too, because there's been videos of these creepy dudes out here trying to roll up on Black American women, trying to assault them. But, from the videos I've been seeing, y'all been keeping y'all power tools tucked amongst y'all. So, not only do you have to be careful with the terrorists jumping out of bushes trying to, sell you something, keep your Joel off scented pepper spray. Matter of fact, keep you some deodorant, because, that'll be easy. That'll be easier than the pepper spray, because I think they're immune to that. But, it's stuff like that that's going to keep us focused and going to keep our heads on the swivel, because, every day is a struggle. But I do thank God that every day amongst the Democratic Party, they keep taking L after L. And in my opinion, we should always be independent, thinkers when it comes to either side. We got to do this as a business transaction. Just like when you get paid every 2 weeks for the work that you do at your job, they should be doing the same thing with us. This is a business transaction. You do right by me, I do right by you. If you ain't bringing nothing to the table, I don't got nothing else to say to you. But, with that being said, I'm going to land my plane, and hopefully, these Democrats are in the space right about now, because, I definitely do want to hear from them, because I know y'all had it in trash cans, because, these ICE agents been putting it on y'all for the longest, suplexing y'all on cars and stuff, throwing y'all in cardboard boxes, shipping y'all back to y'all homeland. I do definitely want to hear from y'all, but, with that being said, I'm going to land my plane. Salute to you, Black Alpha.
Salute to you, my good brother. Salute to you all day. Let me give y'all some numbers real quick. And these numbers are undisputed, and can't nobody go back and forth with them. There are 560 sanctuary cities in the United States of America. Those 560 sanctuary cities, they house about 30 million illegals, and they are dumped in places that occupy 80% of foundational Black American population. Yes. That means that the mass overwhelming majority of sanctuary cities are in places that 80% of us listen to. So chances are, if you're listening right now, you either have a sanctuary city that is overt, or you have a sanctuary city that is covert, but you got a hell of a lot of people living there that ain't from here, that the Democrats are so in love with. So don't let these people sit here and deny and ignore what's really going on, because we all see it. The statistics show it, and it's proven. See, I don't want people to think this is no damn debate. This ain't no debate. What we say the Democrats are doing, they're doing. And it's not up for no argument. I don't give a damn about somebody's opinion. I don't give a damn about your free speech. None of that. The Democrats are purposely trying to erase us, replace us, and put these individuals in our community so they can take off of our plate. All them folks that be complaining, talking about how bad Donald Trump has the economy. A lot of people don't realize your economy might be better if Julio Romero Benitez wasn't living there with his 35 family members, and your apartment building, taking all of your resources. We're seeing that people talking about having $1,500 left and right of small time cash, having $15,000 in food stamps, having pamphlets that allow them to go to places, flash the pamphlet, and then they get away with free. Fam, this is an apparatus that the Democrats set up. A lot of these little companies out here are in cahoots with the Democratic governor, in cahoots with Democratic mayors. And when Joe Biden was president, they were in cahoots with the Democratic presidency and the administration. It's deeper than just your average, everyday Democrat politician you see. It goes all the way down to those businesses. They're making some phone calls to Billy Bob and Jethro and Ken and Karen and Spencer, and they saying, hey, we got these illegals over here. We got little pamphlets for them. They got little badges. They got things that the average brother and sister don't even see. You wouldn't even know about it if you didn't have some of these illegal migrant snitches that been outing the whole program. Y'all remember last year when they were telling us there wasn't no problem? Y'all remember seeing those receipts that those cashiers were putting on the table that illegals were giving them, and you seen how much money they had? Where they get that money from? And if they living in your community, that means that that money is being taken directly out of your household. Family, they got pamphlets, they got badges, they got numbers, they got monitors, ankle monitors. A lot of times you're starting to hear these stories. I just seen one the other day about 2 Venezuelan gang members that unalived an elderly person. And I noticed something strange when I was watching the video. They never showed the photo of the elderly person. They just kept saying the Venezuelan men did this, they tied them up, they gagged them, they unalived them. So I had to get off of that site, go and actually Google who the person was, and guess who the hell it was? It was an elderly black man. And the news purposely did not show his photo. Now, don't tell me they don't know how to show photos of black people. They do it every damn day. You can have a 12-year-old who steals some bubble gum, and they're going to have his face plastered every damn where. But when the illegals were harming this elderly person, they just kept referring to him by name, and they wouldn't show you nothing. The same exact thing going on with Venezuelan migrants, gangbangers being in them apartment complexes in Chicago. Y'all notice all the news clips that you've been seeing? They just keep talking about blackity black. They showing the black people. Oh, the black folks. Oh, they went to the black folks. Family, change the channel, go to another website, and there's footage of them carrying out Venezuelan gang members with tattoos on their damn neck. So how come 99% of the videos that you were seeing, they didn't show none of them gang members, fam? They were very, very vague, very, very murky when they was talking about what happened in them buildings. They was like, oh yeah, they came and they detained black folks and they zip tied them, and we don't know yet. Could be, might, shoulda, woulda, if the gang members was there or not. Notice that they weren't saying what happened to them Venezuelans. Matter of fact, the news ain't even telling you that Venezuelans were in the damn apartment building. That's coming from brothers and sisters in Chi-Town, boots on the ground, who are telling those stories. This is why you got to be out here in the field. If you ain't outside, you ain't really doing nothing. Because the news is just saying black people, black people, black people. But the black people who are there, they're saying, hell no. They was carrying out all types of gang members. And guess what we ended up seeing? We seen about 4 or 5 videos where they were arresting them Venezuelan gangbangers, were no black people, and they were taking them away. And if you listen and you read the tea leaves, behind the scenes, you seen one of those guys. He was like, yo, they detained us. And there was 1 car for black people and 1 car for the Venezuelans. You know why? Because the black folks were Americans who were being detained and were about to go right back home. And the Venezuelans were in a car for deportation, and their asses was about to get sent out the country. But you leave it to the Democrats, they rounded us all up in one big van, black folks, Venezuelans, and sent us all to Uganda. You see the way they play games, fam, jump around the truth and got to play on words? You see how they keep overemphasizing the term detained? Detained don't mean deportation. So you're not going to play them games with us, fam. I'm going to say this, and I've been making it clear. And if they ain't got it, who gives a damn? They're going to have to deal with it. This is not the African American where you can just say some bullshit and people run with it for thousands of years. It's not. You're not going to hit us with the minority stuff. We pulling paperwork. We flipping stones over. We checking for every single lie, justification, and alibi that they tell us. I'm not them old folks from back in the day where the dominant society would make up a lie and black folks never questioned it. Soon as they even start to utter the word, we gonna call their ass out. So you seen that clear as day. You had a van for black folks who were getting detained and were about to go home. And by the way, fam, how come they don't ever get mad about detention when black Americans are detained for all types of petty crimes? Notice, fam, all of us, all the Black Americans I know have either been questioned or detained 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes in our life. When a race soldier detains a Black person for a broken taillight, Democrats don't say nothing. When a race soldier completely kicks in the door where Black people live and detains the whole household over some drugs that they put in our communities, Democrats don't say nothing. You notice how now they have this newfound concern with us getting detained when they can connect it to illegal Venezuelans, when they can't connect our struggle to somebody else and we deal with our struggle all by our lonesome. Democrats ain't got nothing to say about that. Whenever they can tie that into whatever group that they're feeding this month, then it becomes a big deal. Don't be mad about Black folks getting detained by ICE when El Aragua gangbangers are living in their apartment complex, when you didn't get mad when police officers detained Tamir Rice's little sister. How many of y'all know that when Tamir Rice was on, his sister tried to come up and they damn show body slammed her and detained her? They ain't say nothing about that. Don't get mad when Black folks get detained for walking while Black, driving while Black. You got Black kids who are being detained for opening up lemonade stands all throughout the 50 states. They go to schools, come into the classroom and detain Black kids who got into an argument with the teacher. Don't nobody say nothing about the unjust racial targeting and attacks and detainment of Black people until they can tie it in to some damn Venezuelan gangbangers who ain't got no business being there in the first place. You gonna get this work. So we not falling for none of that. And like my sister Natural just sat there and said, look at all of those laws that they got that we don't have. But remember, they told us that they can't do anything for us specifically. So the illegals can get all types of specific policies, those over the table and those under the table. Because remember, whatever you seeing with your eyes, there's probably about 55 more laws that they getting that ain't nobody ever wrote down. Trust me, I ain't seen all that food stamp money written down on paper. They got it though. I ain't seen all of them stamps. I ain't seen none of that pocket money, the cell phones, the new clothes, the tennis shoes, the luxury hotels. Somebody point to me where that's written down at, because we know it's happening. So these people's getting laws on and off the books, formal and informal. So that shows you the apparatus at play to put these people where we live and to take from foundational Black Americans. And let me make this also crystal clear. There's a bunch of Democratic shills that been running around here who basically just babble, make no goddamn sense, and get checked in the process. Do y'all know that photo that they're running around using right now of the Black baby that's being zip tied? Do y'all know that photo was not even from Chicago? And the Democrats are out here right now and they're circulating that photo and they're saying, oh my God, look what happened to this Black baby. When people pull back the paperwork, family, that was not even association with Chicago. That was a picture from a whole different situation and a whole different event. And they didn't question it one time because they were trying to force that on us. So this is who you're dealing with when you're dealing with these type of busters. All right. And busters get checked. So we're going to continue to hold it down and we're going to continue to regulate in the process. And every single one of them are going to have to get their whole card pulled. And it started about 2 days ago. Let's keep the hands flowing. I'll let my sister Natural go ahead and respond. Then I want to get to LS Elite, Boykin, and then but go ahead, Natural.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I just want to go back to, these Tether sympathizers I see on the timeline, complaining about we're fighting with each other. Listen, if you're feeling bad about these deportations and you feel that we're being harsh about these tethers, then you're in the wrong space. You really are in the wrong space. We can't say it enough. We're not, and for you Democrats, I hope you listen. As I went over what you supposedly done specifically for us, George Floyd justice and policing, everything that they supposedly have written for us is something with us being criminalized or policing, nothing tangible. We got to study for tangible though. So you Democrats, it's over. It's over. You've had a loyal base and we can't get anything specific. And as you said, Alpha, you couldn't even imagine the other backdoor laws or resources that they're getting that's not even written down. So we're not trying to hear none of that dry begging going on in the timeline. I seen some of them saying, oh, well, this is not about black or white or America. It's about human rights. We ain't trying to hear that. We ain't getting out there. Period. And stop trying to this fake outrage like y'all care so much that black people getting deported, as if you really would care. We really could get deported. Worry about yourselves, because we can't. Go ahead.
So that's a good point. As again, you done threw me an alley-oop. Let me go ahead and slam dunk this damn thing. Great ass point. Don't let none of these people try to run this game on us. Let me tell everybody this. If somebody is so lack of concern for you that they will lie and tell you that you can get deported, then that person's same lack of concern is there when something bad happens to you on an everyday basis. All right. You got to understand, when you telling individuals they can get deported, that's basically calling them an illegal. That's really what it is, fam. Let's just make that clear, okay? Damn the term deportation. Let's just get that out the way. They calling us illegals. They calling us illegals. So an illegal is a criminal. And again, a criminal on the run is a fugitive. Family, I don't know what else they can put on our backs. Damn, these are the people black folks voted for 60 years blindly. This is the vote blue no matter who cries. You voting for people that is trying to put your kid in a damn van to get deported or perhaps unalived by a police officer. And this happens every day without them telling us that we're illegals who can get deported. So in the system of supremacy, what we deal with on a day-to-day basis is hard enough. And then the political party that pretends to love black folks and black folks was voting for blindly, where a lot of black folks love the Democratic Party more than they love their own damn mama. This is the party that you got blind loyalty towards, that is out here putting a criminality jacket on you and a target with a bullseye on top of a bullseye right in the center. And then they won't even turn around and tell you that America is a white supremacist nation. Remember, Kamala Harris, she said America's not racist. Joe Biden said America's not racist. Look at the contradiction in the middle of both of those statements. So they'll tell us that black Americans can be deported. They'll tell us that Donald Trump, Hitler, they'll tell us MAGA is not a party. Well, family, if all those things are true, then you have to say America's a racist, supremacist country in the process. You can't say all of those things and then say America's not racist. Family, last time I checked, if the president is here, then this is a supremacist nation. If his supporters are Nazis, then this is a supremacist nation. If you can round up black Americans and deport us, then this is a supremacist nation. So how in the fuck can you say on one hand, all of those supremacist tactics in America at the highest level of the government, but this is not a white supremacist nation? Y'all see how the Democrats do? America's supremacists all day long when they're not in office. Soon as they get in office, they tell you how America is a very friendly place and there's no racism out there. And if we all just had a conversation in free speech, we could all just live in harmony. You see what the Democrats do? The Democrats tell you about all these invisible problems until they get in office, and then they tell you, A, they can't do nothing for you specifically, B, this is not really a racist country, or C, let's give all of those things to illegals and tell everybody how they got it bad and black folks got it so good. And just like everybody else in the reparations generation, certified 100, I see through all the asses and they get exposed in the process. And as we say the process, let's keep this process flowing. Let's get to the hands. LS Elite. It's on you, fam.
Shout out to the room. Shout out to the room. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. Shout out to all the speakers. Shout out to you, Black Alpha. Shout out to the Queen Natural. And EJ always be having me dying laughing. You know what I mean? In the words of the late, great Neely Fuller Jr., you know, I'm still learning. Yeah, man. You know what? I'm just going to say it right now. Free speech is the code word right now for white supremacists. And at the end of the day, you know, these tethers, they understand that we can't be deported. What it is that they realize that they done effed up. They realize that they should have been more trying to have some type of camaraderie with us, some type of trade thing that they would have did from Africa to the U.S., something like that, work something out that was legitimate. But they realize that they are tribal. And they realized that they already jumped out the window, jumped out their own fire into the frying pan. And now we got them cooking. That's what it is. It's cooking right now. They're cooking and they feeling the fire. That's the reason why they out here talking about us being deported when they know good and well we can't be. That's the whole ideology of what it is when you trying to help people that didn't even help their damn self. That's so we got to also know and understand that. And I'm gonna land with this. You know, at the end of the day, all we have is each other. So whether or not they get on board or not, I want everybody in this room to understand. And also shout out to the Honorable Marcel for Congress. You know, he in the building. Shout out to him. And also make sure that everybody understands that all we have is each other. All we have is each other. And I'll land on that.
Peace and respect, brother. Much, much, much love. Much love. Go ahead, my brother Church. And then after Church, Boykin.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to touch on something you said real quick, because I appreciate you bringing up the elder that was unalived by the two, illegals. They did not want to bring forth that information. They didn't want to show his picture because they know it would have riled us up. And they tried riling us up about the situation in Chicago. And if you notice what they're doing, when they showed the black folks that were detained and they get their stories from the black folks that were detained, one of the things that you're noticing that they're amplifying is the fact that the agent, when they saw the children being zip tied or whatever, they asked the agent, they said they're just kids. And the agent allegedly said, F those kids. They're amplifying that part right there because they're trying to make us hyper emotional about the situation. When in reality, really, the Democrats said F those kids when they put those people in our communities. They said F those kids when they shut down our community centers and things like that. So I want people to be very, very cautious of what they're doing and just notice how they're trying to amplify that one part. I've seen that in like 6 or 7 different articles where they made sure to highlight that the agent said F those kids. But in actuality, like I said, they've been said F our kids. Back to you, my brother.
Damn, bro, that's a damn good point, fam. Oh, man, that's a home run point right there. You see how many examples that we have presented where it's absolute contradiction and bigotry from the Democrats. That's all they are, y'all. It don't take a rocket science and it don't take X-ray vision to identify them. Look what my brother just said right there. Can you make it any more clear cut? When they sit there saying, well, they said F them kids. Yeah, well, guess what? They said F the kids, the grandma, the grandpa, F all y'all when we run around here and dump these people right there. You don't put people in a black neighborhood family who are, by the way, anti-black themselves. You don't put anti-black people around black people in our neighborhoods because you did it just for fun. You did that clear as day. And y'all know I'm always telling everybody, one of my mantras, and which I've always spoke on one of my quotes, is that the dominant society and the system of supremacy have an informal agreement and contract with every migrant or immigrant who comes here to the United States of America. They're never going to write this down, but it's understood. And that is those people are here to come down on foundational black Americans and do all the bidding for supremacy. And in return, they will get luxuries and benefits that are made for foundational black Americans in return. If I can keep it real, and I'm gonna have to watch my cousin with this one, they come and take our shit. And the supremacists give it to them as long as they come down on black people. If a black kid comes through your store and you say, you buy, you go, then people end up getting extra home loans. All right. If them El Aragua people come here and they vote blue, no matter who, they get our apartment complexes. No matter where you go, no matter where you're at, these people come over here with a belief of I'm going to take away from black Americans in exchange for my citizenship here. Basically, family, it's pay to play. You get citizenship in America. They leave you alone as long as you go after black folks. Why do you think every single tether from all of these different continents, what's the one thing these people all have in common, my good certified brothers and sisters? These people come here from Africa, speak different languages. They'll come here from Jamaica, speak different languages. They'll come here from Asia or the Middle East or from Europe, all speak different languages, all have different customs and practices. They don't get along with each other any other time. What's the one thing every single immigrant or migrant comes here with? That is anti-black American hatred. It does not matter where these people are from. It don't matter what religion they are. Don't matter how they look, different climates, different environments, different atmospheres and backgrounds. They all come here and they have the one thing that they all agree on, and that is anti-black American hatred. and they have anti-Black American hatred in their homelands. And then when they come over here, the white supremacist places them in our homelands, on our city, on our block, and our boulevards, and our neighborhoods. And then they just perpetuate said anti-Black American hatred upon us in exchange for citizenship. That is the informal contractual agreement that all immigrants and migrants have been receiving from the dominant society, in particular, the Democratic establishment, since the Civil Rights Act of the 1960s. That is a lesson in the class of certified Black society. I am your professor, Black Alpha, and let's get to my sister Boykin. It's all on you.
All the speakers and all the listeners, including tethers and Democrat shills. I'm going to have to guard my tongue too, because I got a filthy mouth. Because we're talking about a filthy subject, this nasty business of these folks coming in here and trying to reframe our narrative. They think they can come over here and rewrite American history when they don't even know their own history, or their own country, or their own places and their own spaces. Okay? Even though it's 58 degrees, that was the daytime high today, I'm hot mad. Because, well, how church put it out there, the Democrats are framing the narrative. Complete dishonesty, trying to rile us up about things we know were never facts, never had an iota of truth in them. And this is all what they call to manufacture consent. Okay? They want to manufacture our consent to go along with laws and customs, or the unofficial laws, to keep these people in here who are here to erase and replace us. That's what it is. Erase and replace Black Americans. All you have to do to shut this down, any person who says African American, they're automatically sus. Automatic. Shut it down by saying, I'm not an African American. I'm a Black American. Period. End of discussion. You want to shut them down some more? Say, I have constitutionally protected rights, and name those constitutionally protected rights and the amendments 13, 14, 15, 18, 19, all 27 if you need to. Bring that to the table, especially with you Democrats who are listening right now. All of you Democrats, I don't care what you claim to be. You guys need to understand, Black Americans, we paid attention in schools. Some of us had to homeschool our kids, or people had to homeschool us. We know our rights. We know our history. And before you tethers down there, you need to start pulling up real quick, because you guys who are naturalized citizens, what did Tom Homan say? You can be denaturalized. So you guys that are committing fraud right now, and you know what you're doing, committing fraud like this is catching up with you right now. Don't think that anybody Black is going to save your behinds. No. We're looking out for our own vested interests, and that's to protect our country. Okay? These United States, for which our ancestors fought, this is our country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty. None of your tethers around here fought for anything in your life. You didn't fight for your homelands. You didn't fight for your rights over there. You're not going to fight Black Americans because you can't do it. You let these people fool you into believing that you got something that was never yours in the first place. That's the difference between a Black American of this soil, of the lineage, of this heritage, versus some interloper, some foreign national person who got over here by crook and hook. Okay? When you start asking them about basic civic and civic responsibilities, they can't tell you. You ask them about the 1965 Alien and Immigration Act. They don't know what that is. You ask them about the 1990 Immigration Act. Quiet. We know who we are, where we came from, and we know our rights. These other people around here think the Democrats gave them rights. They think the Republicans are taking them away from them. You're not a United States citizen. You're not a United States national. You don't need to be here. You need to bow down to the people who made this happen. And that's foundation Black Americans of the lineage, of the soil. And with that, I yield.
Thanks, Boykin. I'm going to be letting go next. I just wanted to say that we don't want to hear nothing about what the right is doing or what they are not doing. The Democrats had 60 years of loyal base, and all we have is a civil rights bill that basically benefited everyone else more than us, a study for reparations, and a George Floyd bill does nothing for us, and an Emmett Till bill. That's what you Democrats have given us, and you wondering why we are saying, nah, y'all got it. Go out there and hold your own. You're not going to put a battery in our back. We don't care about what's going on with nobody else except us. I mean, y'all trying. I mean, they have tried everything. Now y'all putting a target on our babies' backs by saying that our babies are considered illegals, and they're zip tying our babies using false videos. You guys have no morals, no integrity, no nothing. But we ain't coming out there. We'll get somebody else to do it. Go ahead, bro.
What's the damn deal? I appreciate y'all having me up. I'm gonna try to be as short as I can. And disclaimer, what I have to say might not be as popular, but somebody got to speak to it. So just please allow me. Number one, I have it, me personally, and I'm just going off the last 72 hours because I'm basing my whole spiel, my whole build off of what I would call the cover up of 75th South Shore. I haven't heard one black person come out and say that these people should not be deported. I've been listening closely. I haven't heard one black person come out and say one pro-immigrational thing. I think that most black people in the community are for the efforts to basically get the illegal immigrants out in order to better our community and give us more opportunity. I believe that what's being silenced and what's not given the proper attention is how we get in there. So although I am black, I am also a black American. So the Constitution, that's mine. That don't just apply to white people or whoever else, that's mine. Civil rights, that's especially mine. We have people that died for our civil rights that we have today. Not only the civil rights, no-knock warrants, stop and frisk, all these laws have been passed over innocent black bodies. That's a fact. So I'm begging my community to not politic with our constitutional and with our civil rights, our basic American rights. That's not up for political debate. That don't have to do with being Republican.
Okay, so some people was just sending me something on you. So just based on the title of the room, I'm just trying to get a gist of what you're doing. See, the fact that you just cut me off, it definitely confirms what they said about you. So I'm just trying to figure out, why are you going left based on the title of the room and you talking about the politics? Yeah, somebody sent me something on you and you just was about to cut me off. So I'm trying to figure out why you trying to take the room left, because what does that have to do with the title and what we talking about?
That's a double mute, ma'am. And respectfully, you can't apply left to me. I'm coming with the truth. So I don't know. I never applied that to you. So that's your guilty conscience. I said, why are you? Speak,
again, because you don't run this room, and what I'm saying to you is, why are you taking the room left? Because we got our eye on the prize. You talking about something we're not even talking about. So I'm trying to figure out, why are you trying to go off track and say, well, I hope my people in this room is not, we're not even on that. So I'm trying to figure out why you not staying on track and you talking about something totally off track is what I'm asking you.
Ma'am, the topic says I'm exactly on track. The topic and the title says deportation is not detainment, but illegal detainment is illegal detainment. I just need you to come out. If you got a problem with just all you need to say is, I believe that Americans' right, Black Americans' right, need to be sacrificed for the greater good. I'm directly on the topic, and I'm asking you.
And we told you don't swear in here. No, you're not, because
Oh my
see,
God, man.
I'm getting into you by letting you talk, because you're trying to derail the conversation in here, and I haven't even done my research on you, because I just got people sending me stuff. But you can, oh God, my ma'am, all you want. You don't have to tell us that, because we not on that. So I know you ain't not used to the people in this circle. You don't, what you about to go down this what our amendments is. You totally trying to derail this conversation. You don't have to tell us that. Bring something else to the table. That's what I'm telling you. And if you don't like what I'm telling you, you could drop down.
No, ma'am. Y'all already spoke against the First Amendment, so you don't like what I'm saying. And I'm reading the title. Those were illegal detainments. You have constitutional rights as a Black American.
Illegal detainments by who? When they do that, they do that all the time. So that's why you coming to hear about some illegal detainment. So man,
we're deaf for those.
Are you a Tether sympathizer? Because that's why I said you're trying to come in here to derail the conversation. We're not on that. We already know we can't be deported, so we offer that. The people that are being deported are not us. And guess what? The people in Chicago, they begged for them to come to get those people out of there. So guess what? And they moved along. They like, okay, they detained us. They realized we weren't illegals, and we kept on moving. So why are you trying to derail this conversation? I'm going to ask you one more time, because don't tell me that the space Black Americans, and I'm trying to tell you that that was an illegal detainment. We've been going through that in this country. I don't know where you come from, but let's get back to the topic.
Yeah, man. R.I.P. Sandra Bland, Michael Brown, Martin Luther. R.I.P. Sandra Bland, Marco Brown, Tamir Rice.
And I removed him, family. And I know y'all be thinking that I'm harsh, but I know people. Not only that I was just getting stuff from the inbox. What does that have to do with what we're talking about? He talking about these amendment rights. I want somebody to tell me. So if I'm wrong by saying he was derailing, y'all let me know. And I'm going to let the next person speak. But then, Church, did you want to speak before he come back up?
Yeah, let me just say this real quick, because you're absolutely right. You were not in the wrong. You're sitting here, and we already discussed. I've said it. Our brother Black Alpha said it. Natural already said it. We're detained. We get detained every dang day in this country. Yeah, we're detained every damn day in this country. When it has nothing to do with immigration or ICE, nobody's saying anything about our detention. Our children are detained every day in this country. Our children are over-policed every day in this country. So the second that he came up here talking about these were illegal detentions, okay, look, we get detained illegally consistently. And where are you? Are you out here when you see every situation that we go through out here in this country? Have you ever been out there saying these are illegal detentions? They're detaining our people illegally. We're the only people that call this stuff out. So when you come into a room where we literally 1, 2, and 3 of us said already that we already know that we are over police. We get illegally detained more than any other group in this country. So this isn't a starting factor for us. It's a non-factor. But yet you came into this room and went right back to that situation as if you were going to derail this whole thing to say why those illegals shouldn't have been detained either.
And he's Jamaican, just to let you guys know. So I know sometimes y'all be hearing me thinking I just be going off. I promise you I'll be knowing.
Oh, I already know, sister. Go ahead, Twizzle.
Well, before Twizzle, I'm sorry, Twizzle, because I know you've been waiting. Let Professor Alon go, and then back to you, Twizzle. Go ahead, Professor.
Hey, what's going on, brother Black Alpha, man? I love your spaces, man. I'm always so educated and honored to be here, brother. Thank you for what you're doing. This is very important. So first and foremost, immigrants don't have, to my pro se understanding, any rights in this country. It's particularly illegal immigrants. Look up the word illegal. I would put illegal plus Black's Law Dictionary, but I'm not telling anybody what to do. Let's go to a little scholarship on this. According to Dr. Howard Zinn, page 204, Dr. Zinn says, quote, the first clause of the 14th Amendment says any one born in the United States was a citizen, and the clause in Article 4, Section 2, saying the citizens of each state shall, S-H-A-L-L. That's not maybe. That's not can be. That's not may. That shit say, excuse my language, that says shall be entitled to all the privileges and immunities of citizens of the several states, which were several states at the time. It don't say immigrants. Let me say that again. It don't say immigrants. Now that we're talking about immigrants, let me give y'all a little bit that we need to know about these melanated immigrants. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to lean on our giants alive. Fortunately, our giant, Dr. Claude Anderson, is still alive, so I'm going to lean on his shoulders just a bit if y'all don't mind. Dr. Claude Anderson, I'm putting in the Jumbotron. Page 111, that's a very interesting number for those of you who deal with numerology. Dr. Anderson says, hold on, I'm putting in the Jumbotron. They switch things up on me. On page 111, he says, quote, now we're talking about our African immigrants that I have a lot of problems with. They give me a lot of heat. He says, quote, Black West African sense of community was narrowly and divisively based on tribal origins rather than commonality of black skin color and collective racial destiny. Stop right there. They used to. I'm not going no more. My visa's expired and I'm not going to renew it. Go over there doing mission work with. You can ask on my page from Wani to other people. I've showed them pictures of books when last time I was in West Africa. I went into historical black colleges and got truckloads of books to donate to them because their libraries were empty. And when I finally boxed up the books with my own damn money and contacted them on WhatsApp and said, hey, I got your books on chemistry, biology, history, etc., math. They said, no, we don't want the books. We just want the money. Commitments rarely extended beyond the village compound, and there it is. They don't get along in Africa. They don't get along with their family members. They're into trying to one-up each other. That's their culture, according to scholarship. I put it in the Jumbotron. Y'all take it and save it. Now that we know that, we need to look at them a little differently when they come around you saying, hey, brother, I'm your brother. We got the same skin. You don't have that attitude in Africa. I appreciate your space. On that, I'm out.
Much respect, my good brother. Y'all make sure y'all follow our brother. Straight fire. Much respect. You know it's all love on this side, my brother. Certified salute to you, the great professor. I hope y'all caught that game because there's a lot of deep game in here tonight, fam. The brothers and sisters is cooking across the board. And we putting all of that stuff, all that nonsense to an end. So much love and respect to everybody doing their thing. Let's continue to give these people that work and let's continue to beat them with facts. Straight facts, uncorrupted, undisputed, no debates, just straight facts. I'm going to send this to Church, and then we're going to get to my brother Twizzle. Go ahead, Church.
Yes, sir. I just want to give a shout out to Professor Alon. I appreciate what you just brought forward because, yeah, you're absolutely right. They have no citizenship rights. Okay. Every time they talk about what they actually can get from the Constitution, the only thing that really the courts have even given them that I've come across in all the readings that I've done is due process. And all that means is that you can get due process before being removed. If you have skipped out on your due process, which many of these people have already done, they didn't show up to their quote unquote asylum seeking cases, none of that. You get a place with an order of removal. That's it. It doesn't grant you birthright citizenship because it isn't applicable to you. We're the only people that is applicable for. That's it, and that's all. So I'm glad our brother professor said that because he's absolutely right. They already tossed their due process out the window by not even going to court. But I'll send it back to you, family.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Did you want to add more, my sister Natural?
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about the dude that came in. We don't play these games. And see, for the most part, we don't go against our own interests. So we should know. That's why we let them come in and speak. But he was getting on my reserve nerve. We don't speak against our own interests, even though he wasn't speaking against their own interests. But we had already covered that. They come in and try to derail. And I was already getting information that this is Jamaican, disrespectful Jamaican that be in other spaces. But he's coming in here, well, our amendments. And then it was no tethers. Again, y'all not getting it. There's nothing that's going to work. There's nothing that's getting us out there to fight for you. Nothing. And we know who you are when you come in here. You know, and I was going to give him a chance, but he thought he was going to keep going over and talking over me and being disrespectful. So you got dropped. Our sister Angelic, I know that you've been waiting. Go ahead. You can speak.
Hi to everyone in the room. Hi, Black Alpha, Naturally Tura, Twizzle, Professor, Alon. Anybody else I'm missing? I see Soul Food is in here. I just want to say hi to Queen Alpha 2. I hope she's feeling better. I really just kind of wanted to add on to what that person who was in here talking about. Well, your constitutional rights and all of that. And Church already spoke on that. I mean, we've been, and he's talking about what about these illegal, detainments? We've been illegally detained on this land for centuries. Look, so we're supposed to jump up now. We're supposed to jump up now, and we're supposed to be, uber outraged. We've been outraged about it. We've been illegally detained for centuries. No one said a word. Now, all of a sudden, because they're being deported, not because we're being illegally detained, quote unquote, is why everyone is popping up all of a sudden. So I just wanted to say that and leave it there. Thank you for letting me speak.
Oh, I wanted to say something real quick, if I may, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
Is that cool? Yeah. What we're looking at with the alleged immigrant from Jamaica coming in here is jujitsu. It's a tactic being used by politicians. In jujitsu, you use the energy of your opponent against you. For instance, your opponent throws a punch at you. You don't do anything. You wait for that the momentum of that punch to get close to you. You grab his wrist and throw his ass across the room with his own momentum. That's what the Democratic Party is trying to do. They're trying to use our own momentum against us, and they've been doing it the whole time. Somebody really put it better than me about 45 minutes ago, talking about how they use violence against blacks to move a bill. I'm so proud that we're getting politically sophisticated enough to catch it. They're trying to conflate the immigrant struggle with the black oppression when, like, somebody else, forgive me for forgetting who it was, but somebody else said it better than me, said, where were you when we were getting detained? I've been in school most of my life, and I've been, excuse my language, I've been friggin' held up and detained. I was riding in a car when I was in undergrad with 3 white guys just because I needed a ride. And they riding with an open bottle of wild turkey and speeding, ran a stoplight. The police pulled us over. I'm sitting in the back right. And the police took me out the car and put my hands on the car and asked them were they all right. Where was all this legislation then? So miss me with that. The police are oppressing people bull crap.
I know that's right, Professor.
Hello.
Go ahead, Boykin.
Yo, black people can't get deported, but they can get locked up in prison. They can get oppressed by the police.
Who is that
Nigga, if you don't
talking?
shut up, it ain't even your turn.
Who is that talking?
That was Shadow. Shadow, you come off the mic again, I'm dropping you. Go ahead, Boykin.
And you're removed just like that. We're not playing that in here with them disruptions and distractions y'all doing, and you got removed just like that. Go ahead, Boykin.
All right. Thank you. Can everybody hear me now?
You good, sister?
Okay. Because I know X was messing with me. That's what happens when you speak from the heart and you speak on your lived experience, and you can share with other kindred souls who had similar lived experiences, and we get together as a collective because we understand where we are in this place in history. Okay? I'm just going to go there and say, first and foremost, violence has been a normative part of the American experience. For you tethers down there who just don't want to understand because you have no clue. Okay, violence against black people has been going on since this country's beginning. In fact, how this country was founded was violence against black people. Perpetual violence against us is the norm. So when you guys want to take these Democrat or Republican talking points, we know that you guys, out from your mouths comes lies. All right? Our history teaches us where these manufactured lies come from, who originated them, and how they get spread. Okay? Over our bodies. It was our bodies that fueled every political movement in this country since its beginning. Off of the black babies, black mothers, fathers, ancestors, elders, clergymen, everybody in between. Your tethers don't have any idea or justification for sprouting what these people have programmed into you. Yes, it was a program by design, designed for your failure, not for Black Americans' failure. Your failure by design, because when you fled your homelands and left a mess over there, and they brought you to do their bidding to undermine Black Americans, social cohesion, the foundation of what makes America run, you guys signed a Faustian bargain. In other words, a deal with the devil. But you're okay with that. You're okay with living with less than your God-given divinity. Okay? You're okay with being the white man's slave, or the Arab man's slave, or the Chinese concubines. Because that's what they made of your countries right now, as we speak in the 21st century, because you guys never got out of that mindset from the 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th centuries. Exactly. And then you want to turn around and reframe a narrative that's saying that we don't belong in the country that we built. We are illegal from the country that we built. Our children have no legacy from the country that we built. No, tethers, that only applies to you. I wish somebody had the sister who was selling those undeportable t-shirts, because we need to start wearing those t-shirts, and we need to start fact checking. Okay? See, one of the fact checks that I have for a lot of these tethers is this. We've got a professor in here, okay? A PhD, all right? Black Americans have boasted PhD professors since the 19th century. Where were the tethers professors, learned scholars in the 19th and early 20th centuries? Okay, here's another fact check for your tethers down there. What political parties did your countries of origin have? Can you name any of the political parties that your countries of origin had? You can't, because your French colonizers, your Belgian colonizers, and all of those other European colonizers wouldn't allow you to have them. And that also includes the Soviet Marxist countries too, all right? So for all of you guys down there running behind these political constructs that you learned and got brainwashed with at the University of Washington, I can only throw shade on Washington, okay? All right? You guys need to know that it's not about you, and it never was about you, and it never will be about you, because so long as we've got ICE in this country, it can never be with you. And for Black Americans who know what I'm talking about and know where I'm coming from, because you know where I'm going with this, all I got to say is this. Your time is up, tethers. You know, you're racially homeless, you're politically homeless, you're just homeless out here because you don't have a loyalty system to protect you from the onslaught of supremacy in these United States. You don't have a survival mechanism, you don't have a coping mechanism. So, as we always say in this country, you may not be able to go home, but you can't stay here. And with that, I'll pass the mic.
Real quick, let me say this, sister. You know, around my way, we say, you can't stay here, but you got to get the hell up out of here. You feel me? So this is the type of time we on, and we going to continue to run that game. Let me say this real quick, y'all. One of the things that these individuals out here that are perpetuating these lies, what they don't like, family, they don't like the fact that foundational Black Americans, we have one up on all of these illegals. See, these illegals come here from areas, hometowns, home states, and they little wherever they come from, excuse my language. These individuals come here and they bring anti-black racism with them. And they're used to coming down and oppressing people that are in their communities back in their homelands. Anybody who is melanated or has a little bit of melanin where these people come from, these folks are the most oppressed, the most invisible. They're non-existent. They talk about the Afro-Mexican, right? When they're always telling that lie. Oh, yeah, the Afro-Mexican saved black folks. And Juneteenth is really an Afro-Mexican thing. Well, how come those Afro-Mexicans didn't pop up on the census in Mexico until about 10 years ago? Don't look like they was living too good now, were they? So these people come over here with anti-black racism and anti-black sentiments, one in which they perpetuate upon the melanated people in their homeland, and two, in which they learn because all of them look up to and idolize white people and white supremacy here in America. Wherever they are, wherever they're from, they watch the television and they want to be like white Americans. And the first thing that they associate with Americans is anti-black American hatred. And then they look at the black people in their homeland who they already have an anti-black racist belief of, and they just combine and fuse those two. And then they sign up to come over here in America, and Mr. Liberal puts them in our communities. So this type of agenda was doomed from the start. And what they don't like is that when they come here to the United States, they deal with the biggest culture shock anyone can possibly have. What is that culture shock, family? Is the fact that you can't deal with foundational black Americans like you deal with those mops, melanated other people in their homelands. They're used to talking reckless to people with a little bit of dark skin in Asia. Can't do that to us. They're used to talking reckless to people with a little bit of dark skin in Jamaica, the Caribbean, because remember, fam, they all have a coloristic caste system. So the lighter is higher and the darker is lower. We don't play that, and we don't have those same type of agendas, and we don't have those structural systems within Black America. When they come here, they deal with the only black people on the planet Earth who are proud to be black. The only black people on the planet Earth that put our flag in the ground and wave it. These individuals know without a shadow of a doubt, they can't hustle the hustlers. They can't talk disrespectful to us. So when they come here and they deal with this version of black people, and some would say the only real black people, when they got to deal with us, they get the culture shock, and they also can't really accept the fact that we can pick up that phone, we can call ICE, and they can go home. Their destiny is in our hands, quite frankly. One is because the tethers have to eat off of our plates because the system has been structured and designed where they steal from us based on policies from liberals and Democrats. And two, the fact that we, the same black folks that they can't stand, are the people who are indigenous to this land, and we can send all of them packing at any given moment. Meaning, if any of us wake up tomorrow and we see some illegals, we can call ICE and them illegals will go home. If they wake up tomorrow and they see us, they can't do shit, and they got to accept it. My brother, Professor, it's on you, family.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be quick, brother. I'm following behind you, family. It would be real important for us to look up the history of some of these vitriolic immigrants, particularly Nigerians. What Brother Alpha said was absolutely correct, factually correct. West Africans have been colonized for the most part, Southwest Africans, by the English, and they have this complex of white superiority. Last time I was in Ghana and Togo, it was big old pictures of white Jesus looking like lily white Jesus, and I tried to ignore it until my wife was like, take a picture. I took a picture, I put it in a Jumbotron for a year now. But furthermore, let's look at these Myron Gaines types. Let's analyze them right quick, shall we? Look in the Jumbotron. Dr. Claude Anderson said, well, first and foremost, in the academic world, you hear a lot of professors, well, a lot of them are Nigerian, talking about we need to add Swahili to the curriculum. We need it. I heard that in the 90s and 2000s. Black Americans need to learn Swahili. Well, let's look at what Dr. Claude Anderson says about Swahili. According to Dr. Claude Anderson, he says the Arabs fabricated a trading language, Swahili, to facilitate trade. Stop right there. Swahili is not an African language. Swahili was made up by Arabs that thought they were too good to teach the Negroes Arabic, so they made up Swahili so they could get them to sell us. Get that brother stuff out my face, man.
Damn. Woo! Straight fire. Hell yeah. My brother just put that crystal clear. You can't debate that. Y'all can't argue with that. Anybody out there who wants a Democratic shield, tether, splain, fleer, flip on that one, you can't do it. You can't do it. Them is documented facts right there. All that brother stuff that they be talking is out the window. You're not our brother because you don't even see people who are in your homeland as brother. Family, Anybody who doesn't see someone who lives in the village right next to them as a brother, they see him as an outsider, they see him as a foe, they damn sure don't see him as an ally. What makes you think they're going to see you as an ally way over here? You don't feel other melanated people of the planet Earth, including the melanated people who live in your village. You don't feel that they are your brother. You damn sure don't feel that about us, and good, because you would be right, because we're not your brother. We're not your friend. We are foundational Black Americans over here living in our own space and time, and we're letting everyone know that we, as a community, we deal with ourselves in a very self-sufficient manner. And all of these outsiders that tell us that we're friends and buddies and allies, they're only doing that because they got their eyes on your money. That's what it's all about. They got their eyes on your money, and they feel if they can replace you, they can take your paper. That's what it's truly about. And my brother Professor, just the great Professor, just said it in a very, very clear fashion. When you talk about different languages being formulated just so they can sell each other and stab each other in the back, family, does it get any lower than that type of behavior? So if they're willing to create new languages to sell each other out, you don't think they're willing to say we all Black, brother, so they can sell you out? It's easy work all the damn time. Go ahead, my sister Natural, and I'm feeling the vibe, everybody. Certified vibes in your area. Go ahead, sister.
I just wanted to make something clear for the tethers and the Democratic shields that's in here, and the Pan-Africans and the tether sympathizers. I see a lot of cosplaying going on the timeline, trying to act like outraged foundational Black Americans. Listen, I didn't personally vote. I voted the couch, but I'm getting deportations by default, so I'm happy. And the ones that did vote it, they're getting what they voted for. Stop acting like this is not what we wanted. We want this. Stop cosplaying, acting like you're Black Americans on the timeline and we're so outraged by these deportations. No, we're not. We're happy. And like I said, I voted for the couch, but I'm so happy by default. I'm getting this by default. Stop lying. You don't speak for us. We want this. We want you out of our neighborhoods. Yes, we do. So I'm going to go on mute.
Sister, I'm going to go ahead and up the ante on that one real quick. Okay, people get mad at foundational Black Americans for being okay with deportations. How come they don't get mad at the majority of America who are okay, and were willing during the election to support all of the deportations? Donald Trump didn't get in office based on the Black vote. Ain't it funny when we tell everybody that we sat out the election, they say, 92 1/3% of Black folks voted for Kamala, but yet they want to dump deportations and Donald Trump on us. Ain't got nothing to do with us. Ain't got a damn thing to do with foundational Black Americans. We seen the way that this was headed. We sat back, sat on the couch, ate popcorn, and we're enjoying the show because it benefits us in the long run, because these individuals have been stealing from us in the short term. And we don't want that short term to be the long term for us in the process. But go ahead, my brother EJ.
Thank you, man. I was fighting like Floyd Mayweather trying to get back up here. I had to duck and dodge and just, your boy's back up here. I really wanted to warn Natural Torah about that, undercover tether, that I do have a hashtag for everybody, and I do want them to use it. MTFG, make tethers flee again. MTFA, make tethers flee again. I had to correct myself. We need to use the hashtag amongst these people when they're getting, deported. And I do not discriminate when it comes to the deportations, the illegal aliens. Y'all need to be the first ones to get deported too. Pedro, Mr. Bob Marley, you can take your bone and your bamboo sticks back to Jamaica, get them Chinese off you. I mean, we need to make that hashtag go viral, just like we did when it came to the couch. And just like the sister Natural Torah, I didn't vote because, they have some strengths and some weaknesses on both sides that I didn't really want to, give my allegiance to. I'm more of an independent thinker. And if I'm going to have an allegiance to anybody, it's going to be to the foundational Black American family if I was going to go with any political party, which is, my people. And I might not agree with everybody, and I might even have a lot of y'all blocked on this app. But, when it comes to certain people amongst the outside world that are causing our people and causing, our community harm and chaos. And I know a lot of you premises that are in the building, and I see some of y'all right now at the bottom. You ain't stopping nothing up in here when it comes to, Black Americans not being eligible for deportation. But if they was going to deport me, they might deport me to Atlanta, since I'm from Athens, a college town. There might be the farthest they, deport your boy Eric Johnson. But when it comes to you Mayos and Viking warriors that want to, rot in hell and, be in Valhalla. So, you got to be warned about, the vitriol and the stuff that you say on these spaces. Because, we will drop a dime on your ass like homie off Belly. We will snitch on your ass. And I'll be proud, rubbing my hands together like Birdman, collecting that paper. Hell, they don't even got to pay me. I do it for free because I'm tired of y'all. I'm tired of you illegal aliens coming into our country, telling us what to do. It's time for y'all to go home. It's time for y'all to, be about their life in y'all countries. I don't have no vitriol when it comes to y'all fighting for y'all, tangibles in your homeland, for the ones that actually don't want to flee and just leave their people astray, in Africa, leaving them kids there in the village for, Fats Likely Trailer Park, women in Minnesota. You can have something much better in your homeland, get rid of them Jesus statues, get your natural resources together and, just get enough cocoa butter for your ashy kneecaps to, be shining like a true Black American supposed to. But, you can't do it like this. But, with that being said, just watch out for these tethers, these haters. With that being said, I'm going to land my plane.
They just afraid of that bamboo stick, EJ. They out there. They say, he the one with that bamboo stick? Oh, no. Get him out of here. Hell no.
Yeah, get him out of here. He always swinging that bamboo stick. I wanted to hear what Marshawn Flips Red had to say if he wanted to add something to those deportations. Go ahead, Marshawn, because you've been holding your hand for a minute. And then I think Church wanted to say something, and we'll go to Xavier and then back to Boykin and then LS Elite. Go ahead, Marshawn.
Okay, I'll be quick because everything is quick and on fire, y'all. You said everything I wanted to say. I got to let you know. These tethers, let me tell you, the tethers, the immigrants, they are code orange when it comes from infiltration and desperation right now. And we need to turn up the heat even further. Like I heard you say, Black, like it was like you was talking about the money. We need to boycott. We did the Africans, remember, about a month or 2 months ago. We need to get on a Middle Eastern and them damn stores and boycott that. We could do that for a day. Don't spend no money with them. Don't go to their hair shops, braided shops, and none of that. And we have other options, right? We got other American stores that we could shop in for a day. So that's number one. Number two, we need to get all asses out of Congress. How the hell they get in Congress? Who opened the doors for them? They need to get out of Congress. Get all them damn judges, too, out of our courthouses who are pushed back on all of Trump's complaints and grievances, giving them a difficult time. You know why? Because they are immigrants, too. So we got them folks all around us. Teachers, the same thing. We need to get them out of our schools. For real. The bus drivers here in New York, they can hardly speak, forgive me, they can hardly speak English, and they're driving the buses. I get on the bus, he's like, you don't speak English. Well, how are you driving the city bus in New York City and you don't speak English? Well, he had to take a test and somebody had to hire him. So they're all over the place in our restaurants, and that's why we got to be careful with our food. They know we don't like them. You just got to be careful. We got to be on the lookout. We need to boycott everywhere. And I think we need to come out and be seen and be loud right about now. But I'm also proud of us because all of us are waking up and we speaking out. But we need to turn up the heat even more. That's all I want to say. Peace. And another thing, one more thing real quick. We have a lot of our police officers who are also them damn tethers and immigrants, especially in places like New York City. I called them twice. I was assaulted by a tether manager who worked at McDonald's. And guess what? They were speaking Spanish to the police officers. I was like, I don't understand what you're saying. Here come another manager speaking Spanish. I requested 4 tapes. We don't have the tape. So you see where I'm going with this. There is a network that is against us. So they want to play chess. We need to be playing checkers, right? You see what I mean? Called the police again for somebody who vandalized my car. You see these are tethers who did that, the immigrants who did that too, and want to let you know. They didn't respond like they were supposed to. I called city agency transferred me over to the police department. They was like, the police got to come out. When they came out and I told them the story, they act like they wanted to detain me. I was like, let me get your business card so I can make a complaint and go to your chief, to your sergeant, and then eventually I would go to mayor. Okay, so I'm just telling you how these people are. They are not for us. They're here to replace us and to take us out, possibly. So yeah, we in the war. Peace.
Certified salute to you, my sister. Much, much respect. You brought that heat with you. Let me say this, family, because our sister made a damn good point. When we start talking about these tethers that are in our communities, they not just a bunch of Venezuelan gangbangers. No, you're talking about police officers. Y'all remember during the African boycott, that lady that was a nurse saying refuse help to Black Americans? There are sometimes, I know in the East Coast, a lot of them be nannies around people's kids. These folks are working in the education system. Everywhere you go, this is a complete takeover and a complete erasure. Erasure ain't halfway, partially, a quarter. It's about the full 100 in which they've been trying to utilize these people as these attempts upon us increase. So what we have to do is that we have to completely reject these things and be the loudest ones in the room and really stand on business and push real principle, because that's the only way you're going to push these people out. And if you notice and you watch, the Democrats and as well as all their tether minions, they're all desperate right now. They're looking for any type of corridor in which they can try to get this deportation out the way and get their mass immigration back in place. This time a year ago, y'all remember the looks on them tethers' face, y'all? Remember a year ago, them tethers was bold, weren't they? They was smiling. They was showing all three of their teeth, because y'all know they ain't got a mouthful. They was out here happy as hell, living in tether la la land. Now, tether la la land and turned into them tether tantrums. Just get on TikTok if you don't believe me. They don't seem too comfortable no more, because that informal white supremacist contract where the liberals give these people access to our communities in exchange for citizenship, that has been rendered null and void. It has been ripped up by the Donald Trump administration. And we, as foundational Black Americans, those who are affected the most in a negative fashion, we sitting back and we watching and enjoying the show. Only a fool would tell you to go help your enemy. Only a fool would tell you to put on a cape for somebody that is anti-Black in their homeland and anti-Black right here. Family, let me give you this example. If the neighbor across the street is an anti-Black racist, do you think when he walks across the street, the anti-Black racism is going to go away? And he's going to cross the street over to our side and become a friend and an ally all of a sudden? Or do you think that same anti-Blackness that he had over there, he brought with him when he came over here? You don't jump the border and then your anti-Black racism disappears. You bring that same hatred with you from your homeland. You bring that same hatred with you from your village. And remember, they don't like other people in their villages, so they damn sure ain't gonna like us here in America. You add some jealousy on top of that, then you see exactly what's going on. And since we got terms and we putting terms on the table, one of the things I love to do on the Black Alpha Network is drop a new term all the time. We had one last week, dusty, rusty mops, okay? Melanated other people. I got a new one for you, and I debuted this last night, and shout out to the family. If you see any of these illegals coming around here trying to eat off of the plate of foundational Black Americans, you see any dusty ass tether that you smelt from down the street and around the corner, just remember that they are an FBI, bitten illegal. Checkmate. Let me send this to the Black Madonna. It's all on you.
What's up, family?
You
Can y'all hear
forgot.
me?
You forgot one, brother. You forgot one. Deport every illegal.
Yeah, absolutely, fam. And you can't leave out ICE. Okay, legals can't escape. We got a whole new dictionary for everybody because it's a whole new time and it's a whole new era. Number one activist. Go ahead, beloved. I'm sorry. It's all on you, family.
No problem. Can everybody hear me okay?
You sound great, sister.
Okay, great. Thank you. This is my first time speaking in this space. Shout out to all of my foundational Black American family in the chat. I love y'all. I'm so happy that we are so on code now. Y'all, I'm out here on the East Coast in Maryland. It's tether central out here, and I work in healthcare, and it is full of tethers. If you want to know why so many of our healthcare outcomes as foundational Black Americans are still so poor is because just like they flood these illegal immigrants into our neighborhoods, they also flood them into our care systems, and they lock out Black American nurses, physicians, other levels of healthcare workers, and it's full of immigrants. A lot of them are getting their diplomas from off the dark web, from diploma mills. The care they give is piss poor. I just wanted to say that because somebody mentioned healthcare. But what I wanted to say is, can somebody explain to us what the actual process of deporting a foundational Black American would even look like? Right, exactly. Crickets. They don't know. I mean, like, what would that even look like? So we would get detained by ICE agent. They would take us to what, customs and immigration, and then like we're gonna go where? I'ma land there. Thank y'all.
Yes, indeed.
Hey,
Good point.
if I may add, I'd say it looked like, well, it would allegedly look like a civil war.
Exactly.
You got the
You
both.
better believe that.
So family. So hold on, whoa. Let's run this back. Y'all said that absolutely 100% correct. So essentially, are the Democrats telling us that we are illegals and we're criminals? So do you see more violence that they trying to put on us, family? It ain't really working right now, but this goes to show you the lengths in which these people will go to try to criminalize foundational Black Americans. They pretend to be so concerned about us. They pretend to care about our well-being and our welfare. But in reality, family, all of the Democrats want to see us knocked off unjustly. So either A, they can remove us out the picture and replace us with the illegals that they're so in love with, or they can try to put our faces on their campaign ads and their campaign stickers so they can get some votes. It's all about votes. No one on either party gives a damn about us. And by the way, us having the position of being pro deportations, I know a lot of Democratic shills are running around here saying, you sound like a Trump supporter. And you sound like an idiot. All right. And what that really is, family, is that's an old, outdated, weak ass, lame excuse that they try to dump off on foundational Black Americans. And they're upset because it hasn't really gained any traction. One, we are not Trump supporters. We are independent. And I know a bunch of these plantation lovers, they can't fathom free Black people. They just can't fathom the American Maroons. They have to be somebody's property. We're nobody's property. We're foundational Black Americans who operate in our own space and time. And then on the other side, the flip side of all of that, the very fact that these individuals try to put the Trump jacket on us, well, say if I was a Trump supporter, what you gonna do about it? What are you really gonna do about it? Fam, if you voted for Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, whoever, what is a liberal gonna do? They're gonna run up? They're gonna get busy? What are they really gonna do? See, basically, family, that's them telling you you're going to vote for the Democratic Party, or I'm going to call you names, or if not, I'm going to get mad and upset. But they know damn well they wouldn't do anything about it. And this is just them trying to get foundational Black Americans to follow suit and do what they want us to do. And they're upset that now our destiny is determined by us. I would go as far to say this is the first era where the foundational Black American lineage grassroots are in control of the community. The Boule is not in control. The Democratic Party is not in control. These fake invisible allies are not in control. You can't minority us, people of color us, African American us. None of that is working. We replace all those terms with the new terms from tether to FBI, flea bitten, illegal, flea bitten, immigrant. And we have now put a new jacket on them. So in essence, they tried to put a jacket on us, but now it's going back in their direction. It's no fun when foundational Black Americans who are certified are running the community, who are running the block. And apparently, by the way they talk about us, we run in the world. It's easy. Go ahead, Xavier. It's on you.
Well, hello everybody. How you doing? What's up, fam? Anyway, this is the thing. I have a question. When are we gonna love our children and our grandchildren enough to not let some tether basically steal his money and steal his future? That's the question that needs to be asked. When are we gonna love them enough to not have our children get over in
Hey,
their
you got
money?
watch the language, player, but go ahead.
So, no, my apologies. My apologies. I didn't mean to be disrespectful. Um, because that's what's been happening up to now. I mean, you look at what happened in Chicago. They're not good. Our Black children are not even going to be able to have school next year because they are now over $700 million in debt due to Brandon Johnson. due to feeding these illegal border entry, non-USA, unauthorized foreign nationals that the DNC imported. And Brandon Johnson and the DNC have been giving Black America the middle finger the whole entire time. We remember when Joe Biden, the first week after he and Kamala Hindu stole the election, the first week in office, he got them civil rights Negroes up in that office, leaked the tape, and basically told Black America, "F you, go to the Hispanics." Does anybody remember that?
Yep.
You remember that? You remember that? That was the first words out his mouth. "F you." He said that to us with it from his chest. Now, I say straight up that Biden Harris election, because if this guy got more votes than Obama, why did he have the entire military seal off that dang inauguration where no one could get in there? If he got all those votes, remember, you could during the Obama flim flam, you couldn't even get in that game. You couldn't even get in that part because it was all Obama supporters. Everybody was happy. So how is it that this guy's going to be able to have more votes than Obama, and yet the entire Washington D.C. is locked down with military troops? So when they were talking about, oh, Trump's bringing in the National Guard, I'm like, he's bringing in the National Guard to get rid of you illegals. Have a good day. What do you mean? This ain't the first time. This ain't the first time troops have been in D.C. What are you trying to do? Let's look at the situation that's happening in Chicago. They had the military in Chicago. Why? Because because the DNC flooded the zone with a full scale foreign invasion financed by our money. And let's stop talking to these tethers like they're misguided, or they need to be educated, they're ignorant, or they're making a mistake. No, they knew what they signed up for back in the embassy, back when they were flooding into Mexico to go over that border. They knew this. None of these individuals ever came to America to join Black people. They came into America to join supremacy. And don't try to, they did not teach us about slavery. And no, really, how you not going to know about the history of a country that you trying to flee to? Talking about you didn't know about slavery. Stop. Don't stop playing in my face. Now what really needs to happen is we need to do a brand new ice bucket challenge. An ice bucket challenge. Everybody on one day say like, oh yeah, we're gonna make 3 or 4 calls to ICE.
Those people literally, since last year when those illegals was coming into their neighborhood and taking over the apartment buildings, they literally was begging for help then. So I'm not gonna, for me to say that I'm upset with them. No, since they first arrived, those people have been complaining to get those people out their neighborhoods, and they have been complaining and begging for help. And the media was first trying to say that it was a lie and it was fake, and those people had to show pictures of them taking over their complexes. So no, Black people have been complaining and begging to get those people out their neighborhoods.
But the thing is, it's like, if anything that needs to be happening there, it's like that these people are lying to our people. So it's like everybody's doing everything they can to get Black people killed right now. It's like, oh yeah, you die for me, and they're not even asking. They're disrespectful and attempting to tell us to be in. I mean, like, oh, see, they locking up Black people now, and I'm like, well, why would you be celebrating that? Well, see, we told you so. What would you tell me? Why would you not do that? They're getting rid of you. Why? Matter of fact, why are you in my neighborhood? Why are you here? They're trying to make it a racial thing when actually it's a sovereignty thing. It's like, yo, you're an illegal border entry non-USA foreign national, unauthorized to be here. Leave. You literally paid a bunch of coyotes to smuggle. Number one, you came over from India, you came over from Africa, all the way to Mexico, and planned to bum rush that border. That's a height of stupidity. That's just dumb. And when I land my plane, I want to say one thing. Imagine right now if we had a Kamala Hindu presidency. Think about that. I land my plane.
Thank you for your passion, Xavier. And while I have you guys' attention, before I go to our brother Church, and then we're gonna go to T-Way, I just wanted to say, if you're not following Black Alpha on his YouTube channel, make sure you go over there and follow him. Also, the Church of Black Power, he has a YouTube channel as well. Please make sure you follow Professor Alan. I just wanted to tell you guys that while I had your attention. Go ahead, Church. I'm going to mute.
Yeah, I just have to touch on a few things because, you know, it was just so on point. My brother, Professor Alon, you brought up the point about how they didn't even look at these folks as worthy enough to teach them the Arabic language, right? They taught them Swahili. And I put it into the chat where there's a candidate running for president over in Uganda, and he's trying to eliminate Swahili from their lexicon. They want to make French and English their nation's language, right? And I found that to be so interesting because they didn't try to make any other language where they can communicate with other Africans, right? But the French as their native national language, right? It just really is really interesting to me to see that they're not even trying to do anything on the continent. They want to make sure they keep the languages that basically groups them up with the Nabiscos, whether being French or being English. So that was very interesting when you said that, because it hit me in the head, like, yeah, and they're trying to toss that language away right now, you know. And then to what Marshawn Flips Red said, I want to give a shout out to her because she brought up all of these situations that was happening there. And I want to really highlight this. Since June of 2025, you've been seeing a lot of different freight truckers being fired because they can't meet the English standard. 1,500 truckers have been fired since June of this year. So, Black folk, get out there and go and get those jobs. Get out there and go and get those jobs. But lastly, I want to touch on something that our sister, the Black Madonna, said, where she was bringing up all the fake degrees and how they're getting their degrees on the dark web and things like that. Family, we just had a situation in Iowa with a superintendent who literally was able to beat the federal background check. He beat the state background check. He had a social security card, even though he was an illegal. He had he was able to go to different schools, get a master's degree, and now we're finding out that that doctrine that he said was fake. He never finished the program, but yet he was still put into the position in order to be the superintendent. Highest paying job at that point in time, to $300,000. My point in saying that, family, is that man had to have some sort of help. There is no way you could just scam your way to the top like that. You're not scamming your way through an FBI background check. You're not scamming your way through the statewide check. And you're getting a social
brother, can I address that right quick?
Yeah,
you hit a nerve with that one.
Please, sir.
Well, oh man, the whole superintendent issue. And y'all forgive me, I'm in a 1,000 horsepower sports car in Buckhead, so it's kind of a little loud. But the superintendent issue is done strategically, because if you want to destroy Black children and destroy their opportunity to education, which is one way out in our society, you can't put an FBA in there, because that conscience will get to your ass, right? So you need a foreigner. Hold on one second. You need a foreigner to that has no allegiance to the community. Hopefully y'all can hear me. I can't turn my exhaust down. But a foreigner with no allegiance to the community, with vitriol that has no what do you call it? Restraint in destroying children, black children. They're happy to have that $300,000 a year. Another thing I want y'all to look at the turnover rates of superintendents, the highest officer in education. That should be a stable job if you want to make change, but you keep turning it over because you don't want change, you want chaos. But that was a good point you brought up, brother. A lot of professors, I'm not going to name the college, but some of y'all already know that I was at, from West Africa, degrees were bought. You know what I'm saying? But they put us through hell. I double dare one of y'all to go to a school of law, go to a graduate school, or go to a school, even a school of nursing. If they gonna make sure that you know it as a FBA. You know what I'm saying? But all these mysterious Africans pop up. That's one of the reasons I'm on the spaces. But that's all I want to say, brother.
No, you make a valid point, and that was one of my major points there. You know, you can tell they didn't want an FBA in that position because even right now, the person that's the intern, that's a Nabisco. So they put a black man in there or someone with a black face. They make sure that his last name is Roberts, and apparently there's questions about whether or not that's even his last name. But they put him in that position in order to make it seem like they're, oh, look at us, we have our black quota. But when you look at his background, not so much. And like you said, there are so many issues with putting the FBA up in there because we're not going to throw away our morality in order to help them succeed with destroying our children. That's not our get down. It ain't never been our get down. So I want to give all three of you a shout out because y'all touched on some real points on that. We can go to P-Way. Shout out to you.
Yeah, great points, and thank y'all for letting me speak. Great points, and to piggyback on Eon Roberts or that Ghanaian, one of his parents asked him kind of in-depth questions I saw, and the dad posted it, and like, where are you from? What's your history? When did you graduate? Really too much. You know what I'm saying? He asked everything after he was hired, and where he was born, and Ian, or where that Ghanaian asked said, that's racist for you to ask for my credentials. That's racist. He so quickly pulled the racist card. Like, bruh, if you got these credentials, yeah, I found it funny how he answered that email. You know what I'm saying? He talked to my lawyer or my board or the NAACP. He was a scammer through and through. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit was very telling how he answered that parent. Even though that parent was kind of overreaching, it was very telling. But while I came up, I wanted to speak on I really like to see Black Alpha, Professor Alon, a lot of our talented thought thought speakers on a shorter form. But moving on while I came up, that tether that came up earlier, it makes sense because all day he's been peddling that same lie, like that same policy lie about the Constitution, and he the same one that that's just decisive. Like, why can't our people get paid for anything they do? He was just bringing nonsensical, thrown off conversational points just to drag on. It makes totally sense. He's a tether. That's all he was there for. And you see how you notice how these new Haitian tethers, these new Nigerian tethers are popping up online because they don't have nothing. They can't do nothing. They just flailing on the water because the day the jig is up. But they just can't survive on their own. So they keep popping up. And that's all. I don't know why we gave him the grace and the space to entertain him, because we had some very good speakers speaking to him earlier and he couldn't win it. But I'm glad how natural how you got him out the paint, because he's just wasting time and taking up space that's not needed. And then another great point Alpha was saying about how they bring over these sellouts, this cool class of these immigrants. So earlier I seen somebody made a point of not the connection. Eon Omar, I didn't know that Eon Omar father was a dictator. So that's why they had to flee. I don't know if I've seen that background. They had to flee Somalia to come over here. So these are not the cream of the crop. These are not the righteous people that are coming over here. And if we seen how the NGOs and the Catholic Church and the USAID meticulously handed out flyers and showed them the roadmap of how these tethers to make up to North America, they exactly know that they bring the oppressor class from these countries to get here, and that's the only ones who win those lotteries. So these are not the tethers or the foreigners from their homeland. They have good intentions or good spirit spirited or good anything. They are the oppressor class that make it over here, so they know to get down exactly when they get here. Because you see how Omar daddy was a dictator, and why is it the whole Muslim community got behind a former dictator? All them Somalians are from the same oppressor class. That's why they all swindling, looking down on us, and running scams. Because that's all they bring over. Because they're all the immigrants over here are vetted to make sure they get on code, because they are the oppressor class in their home country. So that's just great facts that y'all bringing up and driving that home. You know, and
to your point, real quick on that, we just saw a whole situation out there. I think it's Minnesota, wherever those Somalians are freaking grouped up. There's a whole article that just came out that shows that all these folks were basically getting in the country by scamming, where they were marrying each other, and then they would claim that they're divorced even though they were still married, but then they would marry other people to get them into the country. Like, there's a whole scandal.
Elon must have showed them the ropes. Omar, she must have showed them the ropes, and she married her brother. She must have showed them how to do it out there.
You absolutely right, sister. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm hoping that she is one of the people caught up in this situation. You know, maybe we can get rid of her for good. You know what I mean? But that was a very interesting point that you raised there, and I just wanted to add to that real quick, family.
now I'm glad it. Great points, y'all. I want to add that little tidbit that right there.
Much love to you, family. Dulo, it's on you, fam.
Hey, can you hear me?
We got you, fam.
Yeah, I just had a quick question. So this October, right, isn't it the month where the 14th Amendment is supposed to go up to be ratified and all that? Or does anybody have a specific date on that?
The 14th Amendment is already ratified. What do you mean?
I mean, as far as for, you know, the illegal immigrants being born in this country, and yeah, I just got not, but yeah, I did hear him speaking crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, because we done already went over that. You about to go over the 14th, 13th Amendment, or what are you about to go over or ask us about?
No, I was just asking an honest question. Honestly, I was just going to ask: is this the month where the Supreme Court is supposed to be, you know, putting all that into say?
Putting all what into say? I'm confused by the question.
I'm confused too.
I think the
What's
brother's talking
already
about.
into play? I'm confused.
No, I think the brother's talking about birthright citizenship ending. Is that what you're talking about, brother?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Sorry.
Okay. So your question is this going to be the month where birthright citizenship is canceled?
Correct.
Anybody want to take that? To be honest with you, that's up to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court could delay it. The Supreme Court is looking at it. From my understanding, they're supposed to be ruling on it. I believe it was this month. However, it may take them a little bit longer. I'm gonna be honest with you. They've been talking about it in Congress back and forth all year. You know, and actually, to be honest with you, when you really start listening to the conversations that they're having in Congress, they're not even calling us Black Americans. They're calling us Indians. They're talking about how the 14th Amendment is for Indians. So, you know, that's a very interesting situation. But to answer your question, I believe that they're supposed to be making a ruling. Will they make the ruling? I'm not too sure, because a lot of the times they stretch these type of things out.
Can I just jump in there real quick? This is Michonne Flips Red. They made a ruling yesterday, and the Supreme Court voted against the birthright citizenship. It's posted on my page.
Was it the Supreme Court or which court did it?
It's the Supreme Court. If you look on my page, it's posted.
Okay.
To answer the question, it looks like the appeals court ruled against Trump. So it hasn't even reached the Supreme Court as of yet. So it is just the appeals court that made that ruling there.
Okay, yeah, that was my question, because I remember there being a lot of talk of that a few months ago, and it was said October was supposed to be the month that it was supposed to go into a ruling. So just seeing if anybody had any further information on that.
All right, next we're going to get to I know that our sister Boykin had her hands up, so let's get over to our sister Boykin.
Couple of points here. The first one I'll get to with the birthright citizenship and all of that. Okay, first and foremost, you have to understand foundational Black Americans. We're the only group of folks in the United States that have laws specifically, constitutional amendments that specifically apply to us. Those are amendments 13 through 15, okay? So when they put the 14th Amendment, this is an amendment, people. This is not legislation. This is not some article. This is an amendment. Do you understand? First and foremost, they have to call a convention, okay? A constitutional convention. Do you honestly believe in this polarized political climate that either political party can call any kind of unifying convention and get anybody on one page, let alone the same page? Okay? I'm being dead serious. For the maggots out there, for the shills, for anybody who still pretends or is suspending disbelief right now about the current political party system. Second of all, when this goes to the states, okay, you have to have 3/4 of the states to ratify or repeal an amendment. People, we're not looking at something willy-nilly as part of some political talking point, as part of some resolution, as some type of legislative bill. We're looking at a constitutional amendment, okay? This amendment has been on the books since 1868. Do you think after nearly 160 years, things will change just because political partisanship or some newfangled pop psychology has come through? Or for you tethers down there, just because you guys arrived here, many of you 30 years ago, the rest of you maybe 60 years ago, things will change for your political outcome? An emphatic no, okay? Listen here and listen to me good. You tethers down there, you really legally don't have a right to vote if you are only on a green card. If you are a naturalized citizen, yes, you do have provisional rights to vote in your local area. But as a person defined according to the Constitution, no, you don't have the right to vote. But typically, because you live in certain states and certain state laws provisionally grant you voting privileges, you may be able to vote in local elections and in state elections. But for national elections, your geese are cooked.
Well,
Okay?
real quick, my sister Boykin, real quick, just to say that got shut down in New York as of recently, where the New York Supreme Court came out and said that they are not able to allow any illegals to participate in lower voting situations, like for school superintendent and things like that. That's what they were trying to give them rights to vote for. And even that was shut down by the Supreme Court.
Good point, because I'm out here in crazy ass Washington State, where just last year they repealed or otherwise rescinded where naturalized U.S. citizens or green card holders had the right to vote in local elections. Okay, so keep up to date with what's going on in where you live. Okay, another point, and I'm just going to shut down the noise real quick, real soon, and you're going to hear me bang on this drum for a long time. The Alien Immigration Act of 1965, and then when it was redone in 1990, gave a lot of these people, particularly from Asian countries, and the rest of you Africans from your African countries, the false pretense that you can come over here and act like you have something that you didn't work for. Okay? Your time is up. Okay? The energy that you had against Black Americans, where you worked against us to undermine us in school, at work, politically, those days are gone. Understand that whatever lies you sold to sell yourself to get over here, that's now coming out. As what we saw, what happened in Iowa, where that Guyanese guy had overstayed his visa by 25 years, and nobody checked his paperwork because it was systematic. When you have nonprofit organizations, when you have citizens groups from Guyana, or Guyana as they say here, who lobby local, state, and even congressional representatives to make a way for these foreign nationals to get into the jobs that shut out Black Americans. That is fallen by the wayside as people are now exposing the levels of corruption and connivance. That's why fewer and fewer tethers are going to stay in this country, because the jig is up. And that's it. Notice how you don't hear Joy Reid or these other tethers come to the defense of their own people. Okay? You don't hear any these hyphenated groups coming from African and Caribbean countries coming to the moral defense, the legal defense, and the moral aid of these people. You know why? Because it's out of, situational relevance. It's only relevant to their political situation when it's convenient for their agendas. Be keen on this. And so, to you guys who like to say, I'm Haitian American, but then want to turn around and say you're foundational Black American so you won't get deported or people won't call ICE on you guys, that's not it. You're done. And with that, I yield the mic.
Family, I feel you 100-fold. And here's another thing. When we talk about people listening to foundational Black Americans when it comes down to this situation, here's an example. One of the things that I heard in that hearing that I was telling you guys about the 14th Amendment, they're literally taking our language. They're calling us Indians. They're even calling the freaking tethers anchor babies. Tell me, when have you ever heard any politician, say anchor baby? That's a direct thing that we say in the Black grassroots. And so one of the major things that I'm paying attention to is the fact that everything that we're saying is either happening tenfold or they're using what we're saying, using our terms, even down to the situation where Trump just got a ruling from the Supreme Court that he can end all the deportation protections for the 300,000 Venezuelans and all that other stuff. Pay attention, family, because they are literally showing you in your face what it really is. I'm going to go to Professor Alon because I know you want to say something real quick, and then we can spin the block.
Let me say something before you go to him. I wanted to say something to what was her name? Did she leave? Well, she was giving us that information about her neighborhood and how she has been assaulted. I just wanted to let her know that she could follow Black Truth United, that has put together a Rolodex so we could start accumulating a list of these anti-Black businesses and organizations. So that is a form of boycott for us. So his name is Black Truth United. He has a YouTube channel, and you can go there and he will show you how to add, if you've experienced anti-Black hate in your neighborhood, organization, or businesses. He will show you how to add them to the Rolodex. So I just want to let you know that that is a form of what we're doing as far as boycotting these other businesses as well, not just these African brain companies. Go ahead, guys.
Oh yeah, I was just going to quickly respond to what the church said about them taking our talking points. We're starting to get it. Everything begins with language, even warfare. When the generals are deciding on taking over land, it begins with language. It becomes Vietnamese becomes the enemy, becomes Charlie. Everything begins with language, and that borderline spirituality. Like if you look back to ancient Egypt, Kemet, whatever you want to call it, in those books they talk about first there was a word, like basically the creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God, the all force, whatever you want to call them, created everything with by speaking it into existence. Thoughts become words, words become reality. The reason why I kind of took it to the left like that is because there was a good point that the church brought up, because the power of our voice, we really don't know who we are, and we're very powerful, and the power of our voice has been used against us through the media, through what's our brother David Banner calls the suits. The suits tell our entertainers to give them words to use, and we perpetuate the words. Words become our reality, but we're taking back our words, and our words are creating a different reality. So all I'm gonna say in closing is, yeah, let's be careful with our words, and let's use the power of our words to create the reality that we deserve in our homeland, which is the United States of America.
Salute, my brother. Salute to you. Brother Alpha, do you want to touch on that before we spin the hands?
Man, first off, let me say this. All the speakers are cooking. This is high performance, foundational Black American excellence and intelligence in the building tonight. So applaud yourselves, brothers and sisters. We all in here doing our thing. Let me add this to the fray, because there's so many great points that I can touch upon. When you start looking at these illegals who come here to the United States of America and the relationship between these illegals and the dominant society, you have to understand that the dominant society has basically two main approaches to their anti-Black American racism. You have the Republican Party. They're more for supremacy done by white people. And then you have the Democratic Party, where they're more for white supremacy done by white people and melanated people from the outside. They like to have proxies and mascots. That is the type of agenda and approach that, quite frankly, the Republicans don't really go for. When you deal with the liberal and the conservative, I'm going to tell you what it really means. Conservative means we're going to conserve white supremacy for white people, and liberal means we're just going to go find anybody off the street that'll do our bidding, that'll placate and be the human shield in which we put forth. This is why whenever you look at the current situation going on with immigration, deportation, and the hotbed that it's become, it's basically the supremacists on the right saying we're going to do everything in our own control. We're going to have the Charlie Kirks and all these Temu knockoff dollar store Charlie Kirks. And then you have the Democratic Party, and they're out here saying, well, wait a minute now, let's go get Mr. Julio. He doesn't like Black people either. Let's go get Mr. Mutombo. Mr. Mutombo is 3 shades darker than charcoal, but he thinks he's dark white. And he's got dark knuckles because that cake soap can't really get the hands the way it need be. But they want to go get recruits for this supremacy. So if you understand the psyche of white supremacy and you truly understand the way that it functions and what it was earthed from, the formulaic aspects of it, the rhythm, then you know that the dominant society has two different approaches. And quite frankly, every election is just the 2 to 4 years where supremacists go to the table and they have a debate on which supremacy is going to reign supreme. Where a lot of people fall victim to is that they think that they actually have a place in one of those parties, and you really don't. This is why I tell people all the time, foundational Black Americans, who I call the certified 100, we independent and we're isolated. And now what we're seeing, brothers and sisters, is that our isolation and our independence, it really brings us back results. When we were connected to everybody, you've seen a lot of different issues where we didn't really get what we wanted because we had to share and spread things around. We ain't got to do none of that no more. Right now, in this era, you notice how fast we're moving, how much clarity we have, how purified we are. It's simply because everything is in-house. Everything is staying amongst ourselves. We are practicing solidarity just with each other. We are unified with each other. A few years ago, they told us that we had to have solidarity and be unified with people who weren't us. So that's the difference of approaches. And I tell everybody, name me the Black Democrat that pushes Black people policies. Name me the Black Republican that pushes Black people policies. They don't exist. There's no such thing as a black liberal or a black conservative. It's only slaves who work on one of those plantations. So as we delineate from the tethers, we also have to delineate from these fake terms and these fake words that people been pushing forward and people been abiding by that hasn't done us any good. To my brother professor's point, terminology and words are very powerful. Y'all notice once we got our verbiage concise and precise, we've changed everything socially and politically in this country. Go ahead, fam.
That bamboo stick, I'm telling you, it be coming out of nowhere. It's on you, LS. Go ahead.
Yeah, peace and blessings once again, family. Yeah, man, I agree with everybody saying. Black Alpha is definitely everybody's cooking like that, like fish out here. Secondly, I just want to let everybody know, man, the first people that are immigrants is the premises. So if anybody gonna get deported, it should be them. That's the first thing. And with all this whole thing with Charlie Kirk and all this other stuff, with that being said, everybody's blowing up. Everybody's forgetting about how the Carmelo Anthony thing is a gag order. You don't even hear nothing about it because they running this whole thing with Charlie Kirk, and now Carmelo Anthony thing is just getting better. Prior to that, before Charlie Kirk situation, Carmelo was the headline, and I land my plane on that, family.
You absolutely right, family. That they tried to take, and they were going to try to take that situation with the old girl, the little Nabisco that got stuck in that looked really weird. They was going to make that the new situation in order to keep people's eyes on it, but this situation with Charlie Kirk for them was totally unexpected, but those are the breaks, we the universe works in expeditious speed. You thought that you were going to, put us on the front line and it'll be in the face of criminality. And then, Network got his little network, but I digress. FBA Hill, it's on you, family, and then Wak Sabi.
Oh, hi. Good afternoon. Good evening, everybody. I just had a quick question. My question is that the Republicans, they continue to say that the Democrats are going to be angry that ICE is gathering up all of these people. When they say the left and the Democrats, do they think that FBA is angry? That's my question. I'm kind of confused on that.
Hold on, let me take that. That go right along with what I was just saying a minute ago. Okay. This is why delineation is such a powerful thing. Delineation has separated the false ownership politically that the Democrats had over us. All right. So now they can say that all they want to, but nobody is viewing the foundational Black American community, the lineage, as property for the Democrats. See, when we delineated, brothers and sisters, it wasn't just from a bunch of dusty, musty tethers. We also delineated the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, because a lot of folks was out there still trying to be on that. It was all about isolation and being independent. That's what delineation is. See, I don't know about this thing where people think they're going to delineate but still be associated with something. Delineation means basically I'm keeping everything in-house right here. So the Republicans can say that about the left and brand us as the left, but what we've done, we have created an outside contrarian force to where they can't just say left and it means black anymore. See, that's what they did with the term woke. Woke ended up basically becoming black people. Now what we have done with our presence, we've changed how everybody views that. Nobody no longer views those terms as black people. And this is why, as I say, you have to delineate politically as well as socially. You got to do both of those, because if you're going to delineate, but you're not going to be independent, you just wasted your time. You're basically still tied in with individuals. So when the Republicans say that the left is going to be mad by ICE, well, we're making it clear that when you say left, you just got to be talking about other white people, because you're not talking about us. And I don't give a damn about the 3 or 4 Democratic shills in which you present with butter biscuits. I don't give a damn about them, because we're letting it be known we delineated from them as well. I mean, you name them, family. I don't give a damn who they are. You want to talk about these immigrants. You want to talk about candidates. You want to talk about shills, mascots, puppets. Everybody has been delineated from. So now we've cleared a lot of things up on who we are. Now they have to speak about us exclusively, specifically. And that's always been the hill in which we've been trying to climb politically, and we've achieved that now. Now, foundational Black Americans, we are our own source. I told everybody a few weeks ago, when they say things like we're a hate group and we're a cult, I'm going to tell you why that's good. because they're talking about us separately. When they call you minority and African American, that's your problem. So the more they paint all of these false narratives about us, it works in our favor, because the false narrative is still speaking about us isolated. That's still talking about us independently. Our problems have never came from being called terms that are independent. Our problems come from being called terms that are collective. So you can say FBA is whatever the hell you want to say about FBA, but you saying FBA and not African American, though. You saying FBA and not the left, though. You saying foundational Black Americans, and you ain't saying melanated Americans. So that is why we have delineated, we have separated, we have regulated. It puts us in a space and time where you got to address us directly. You can't talk to Roland Martin and he's the fake spokesperson for Black Americans. You can't talk to Jasmine Crockett and say that she's the fake spokesperson for Black Americans. You can't do none of that no more. This time, in this era, foundational Black Americans stand alone all across the atmosphere, all throughout the spectrum. If you ain't talking about FBA certifies, then you cannot address us. You need to sit down. So to answer your question, brother, in short term and long term, they can say left all they want to. They can say woke all they want to. They are not referring to us because we won't allow it. And this is the era where whatever we say goes, and whatever we do is going to be in circulation. It's not going to be someone makes up our future. They determine our destiny. They dictate to us what we can and can't do. That's the past. The present and the future is when foundational Black Americans say we going in this direction. That's where we going. There won't be no diversions, no stops, no shortcuts, no twists, no turns. It's all about us going forward, because it should have been this way a long time ago. But y'all know what they say, better late than never. Go ahead, my brother Church. I know you want to homer on that one as well.
Oh yeah, my brother. Hey, but you you did that thing right there. I just want people to notice how these folks are running around confusing themselves, because when you look at how the Republicans talk about us, right? They call us the libs, they call us the Dems. They typically do such things, right? But then they'll turn around and then they'll say things like, well, the Black community didn't want these illegals in their community, so they asked us to be there. Yeah, sometimes they will use those terms in order to confuse or try to label us, excuse me. But what they're actually doing is confusing the people within their own constituency, because they only use that when it benefits them. You get what I'm saying? So you'll hear them talking about, I'm owning the libs. All those times, yeah, you can bet you about $1 that they think they're talking about us. But our delineation has shown that, yeah, on both sides, because they both do it, the Republicans and the Democrats. I'm about to get to an example for the Democrats in a second. The Republicans, they do this consistently, where they will sit here and say, libs, thinking that they're talking about us, but then they got to turn around and then make a complete distinction whenever they're talking about illegal immigration, because we don't partake in that. We don't agree with that. And we want the mother lovers gone out of our communities. So they're confusing their constituents on that too. In the very same way that the Democrats are confusing their constituency. You see, and my brother Alpha, wasn't it just a little while ago that you showed on your broadcast that Roland Martin was running around here cosplaying foundational Black Americans, saying that we couldn't be deported?
You absolutely right, brother. You damn right he did.
And all of a sudden, after that situation happened, now this situation happens out there in Chicago. And now everybody's back out there talking about, see, I told you, Black folks, that they're coming after you next. So all these people are doing are confusing themselves, while we're sitting here being the only people with clear heads. We're the only people with a clear agenda. We're the only people with clear minds, letting people know we don't rep for the blue side. We don't rep for the red side. We rep for our Black side. And that's what we represent. That's what we're standing on. And all they're continuing to do by continuing to talk, that's why we always say, let these people talk. All they're doing is continuously confusing the people that are supposed to be backing them, or the people that are in their constituent groups. Because the Democrats are making sure people think that we can be deported. Then why did Roly-Poly Martin come on out pretending to be one of us, saying we're here for good, we're here to stay? It's just mass confusion, and you can only control people by keeping them confused. My sister Natural, go ahead.
I just wanted to say we don't care about the left or the right. All we care about is what we have going on. But what I can say about the right, again, at least we got deportations by default. We can't even get nothing by default with them Dems. But we don't care either way. We do not care.
Damn right. Yo, they gonna have to accept it right now, okay? Because they damn sure can't check it right now. Independence is the most powerful thing. Independence allows us to galvanize, to motivate ourselves. Y'all hear what my sister Natural just said and my brother Church just said? We didn't sit down and exchange notes. This wasn't pre-recorded. This wasn't scripted. That's letting you know my brother sees things clearly and my sister sees things clearly, as well as all of us. The camaraderie is in this circle, the winner circle. The solidarity is in this winner circle. The unification is in this winner circle. It does not take a rocket scientist to understand how these people been trying to play and hustle foundational Black Americans. But the biggest problem they have is that the true hustlers, the grassroots, we're on the front stage now when we're running the game. See, for the longest amount of time, the people that had control over foundational Black Americans as a lineage were people that were not foundational Black American first. They were people that were Democratic first. They were people who were rainbow community first. They were minorities first. Everything other than being yourself first. Family, the easiest thing you can do in life is love yourself and be about yourself and your family, number one. These people couldn't even get that right. And these are the individuals that used to control the community. Now with this new foundational Black American reparations generation, we done stood up and took control over everything that goes on with us. If it's got something to do with foundational Black Americans, trust and believe you me, the grassroots are the dictators of what's happening. And there's two factors that have played, and one in which my brother Church just alluded to. Family, think about the terms that used to be synonymous with Black Americans. African American, people of color, Black and brown, coalition, Democrats, left, liberal. All of those terms were synonymous with Black folks. Did you ever ask to be tied into these people? Was there a poll that came out? Did we all sit down and fill out a format that said, hey, we want to be called this? No, no one ever did. They just put that jacket on us. Now, what is synonymous with Black Americans? Black American. Foundational Black American, freedmen, everything that is synonymous about us now are things in which we created. It's not like it used to be. I can't stress it enough, family. We done came in and effed the whole game up. And if you watch America, a lot of the disarray that people are in the United States of America, the mass hysteria, family, that all goes back to you can't control Black folks. See, when you're the foundation of something, which means you're the middle, which means you're the architect, the originator, we're the backbone of this country in all aspects. Well, when the people who are the social and economic backbone start doing things for themselves and not slave labor, that sends out a ripple effect, a domino effect, aftershocks throughout the whole society. Why do you think everybody in the streets fussing and feuding and fighting? Because foundational Black Americans are not allowing them to control us. So now they got to go get it on their own. You understand why illegals and the immigrants are so mad at foundational Black Americans? Because family, we left them with nothing but deportation. They ain't got nothing else. See, they used to get food on their plate based on us. They used to come into our house, take food out the refrigerator and take that stuff back home. Or the liberal would come into our house, take the food out our refrigerator and hand it to them. Now, since we cut all that off, we pulled that plug out the damn wall, they are left with nothing but deportation. What immigrants got going for them, family? I challenge anybody. I challenge you to tell me, what do immigrants have working for them right now in 2025? Now, in 2024 and 2023, they had a lot of things that were working for them. And those a lot of things all came from our community. Well, since we put it into all of that, now only thing they can look forward to is where the hell they gonna hide when them ICE vans pull up. That is a direct effect of foundational Black Americans standing on business, and that is a direct effect of foundational Black Americans winning. We win everywhere you look, everywhere you turn, every corner. It's foundational Black American victories left and right. Family, I can't put it any more clear for you. Anybody who had anything to say about FBA, now they all got that ABK, and you know what that means, anti Black karma, and it has no jurisdiction. It don't even knock at the door. It's like ICE, family. It round them all up. And if you look, they all rounded up right now, and we winning. Shout out to y'all. Go ahead, my sister Natural.
I just wanted to say we the queen piece on the chessboard. We running all of this, all of it. We running it so much that remember a lot of people in our community were idolizing these entertainers. Nah, these entertainers are looking at us now because they know if we don't support them, they ain't got nothing. You notice how Travis Hunter is denouncing that LGBTQ band that they want him to wear. Any other time, these celebrities, they just be going for whatever, trying to push it, but they know that they can't push those agendas on us no more. That's how you know we're running it and they're looking at us. We don't idolize nobody. We're running a yard. We are the queen on this chess piece and we're winning. I just wanted to say that, family, and just big ups to everybody that has been pushing forward, standing 10 toes down. Yeah, it gets difficult. They keep coming at us with everything. They come at every which angle, but big ups to the people that's still strong and we just keeping our eye on the prize. So I just want to say, I think, everybody in here that just stay true to this delineation, because if it wasn't for all of us being on code, like none of this wouldn't be shutting down. We have shut all of this just with the verbiage, as Professor Alon said, this with our verbiage, the delineation, we have literally shut this whole operation down. We have more work to do, but we've shut this whole thing down and we're running the yard. If you don't know and you didn't know, we running it. We are running it. And everybody is looking at us for the next move. So go ahead, next person.
Real quick, before we get over to Wak Sabi, I want y'all to understand and notice what our sister just said when she said we are the queen piece on the board. When it comes to chess, every damn piece on the chess set, on the chess board, has a rule to it. It only can do one thing. The queen plays by her own rules. She can do more than every other piece on the board. As long as she knows that she's a queen. That's it and that's all. So that was a very important statement that my sister just made. Shout out to you for that, because as an avid chess player, understanding that we can create our own rules, and once we do, we topple the board. That's what we're seeing here. We're seeing the board getting toppled over. Go ahead, it's on you, Wak Sabi.
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
All right, so I just wanted to bring it to the attention, to the family's attention that independent autopsy for Trey Reed came in not so long ago. I believe it was like yesterday or so. And it was ruled a like we thought. And there's a call to action for us to show up there in Cleveland, Mississippi, October 18th. And that's all. I'm gonna land my plane here, y'all. Well,
Much love to you, family. And if the law worked the way it's supposed to work, then the FBI would have already been on that case. And all the other cases where our brothers was found swinging from a tree, because there's no other way to look at it beyond the link. Let's be honest about that. Let's be clear. A lot of the stuff doesn't even make sense when you look at what they're saying. Oh, this is so you telling me this person climbed up a tree, learned how to tied that noose around the branch, not knowing whether the branch was strong enough to hold him or not, tossed around his neck and then jumped off that branch, and that branch didn't break due to the gravity of his body and the weight. Like, it just doesn't make sense. And shout out to you for bringing that information up. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
oh no, I think it was a double wave, but yeah, That's all. That's all I wanted to say. Bring it to y'all attention. Word is bond. It wasn't. It was a belt without a buckle.
All right, Sam, we got you in the building. Go ahead. Come off.
Okay. All right. I'm loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Yes,
no. Okay, cool. I'm
Yes,
loving the
sir.
space, dude. I guess what that guy, who he's saying, watch out for the guy who's going to electrify the black masses. I guess it's too late because I'm feeling pretty electrified right now. Yeah. So with everything, what's going on? The one lady was saying about how we didn't change the whole course of the whole country. We really did do that. And you know, with this illegal immigration stuff, it is crazy because, you know, when I was in high school, I was going to school with a guy, one of my best friends. He was an illegal immigrant, and he told me after the fact. And he was like 15 years older than like the average student. You know, I always felt like, man, how he got facial hair so quick. You know, we still getting it together. This man was a grown man in high school, you know, and when he told me his real name, not the name that he chose when he came over here, it kind of freaked me out a little bit. Like, dang, you know, if this dude was to do something to me, nobody would never be able to find this guy because he really don't exist. Um, yeah, that was one thing, and then another thing with the tethers is, you know, it really do seem like some CIA government stuff with them, you know, because we all know that they watch us real close to try to mimic our behavior, our culture. To me, it kind of seemed like the Democrats really did bring these people over here like, hey, you're going to study them and you're going to learn how to become them so we can use you as the face to speak on their issues, you know, and I just kind of thought about that. I'm gonna drop down, but yeah, I appreciate the space, dude, and shout out to everybody in the room.
Shout out, family. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I 100% agree. You know, we are changing the course of the country, but not just that. We're changing the rhetoric of the country. You know, family, just a little while ago, it was us correcting Putin's Mexicans, the Siberians, when they were saying that they're the natives and all this other stuff. And we was like, hey, hold up. Nope. We're the aboriginals of this land, and you guys are Johnny come latelys, you know, and these folks they were all over line calling us pretendians and things like that. Have you guys noticed that a lot of that pretendian stuff has halted because of the fact that you got Nabiscos coming out saying, hey, you know, no, these foundational Black Americans, yeah, they're the real natives. You got these people from across the seas coming out saying, no, foundational Black Americans, they're the real Americans. You got, god dang, even natives, quote unquote, coming out saying, yeah, foundational Black Americans has always been here. So whenever we put our mind to something, to changing the narrative on anything, to changing the rhetoric about what is being said about us, it gets soaked up. Do not ever take it as we're speaking to the choir. What we're saying is falling on deaf ears. That's not what's happening at all. What's actually happening is that they're listening to what foundational Black Americans are putting forward. And in almost every instance, they're going back and doing some sort of research, especially because of the fact that we're super well researched in this day and age. We have more research now than our forefathers had back in the civil rights movement. And that's why we're not allowing anybody to come in and pull any COINTELPRO tactics on us, because, you know, we have the gracious ability of hindsight. At this point in time, we have technology at this point in time. So no matter what we're saying it with certification, we're saying it with our whole chest, and everybody's hearing that. Everybody's understanding, or they're just going to go against it. We call those contrarians, and those contrarians are looking like tethers, and all of those tethers are starting to die down. They're hearing Nabisco mommy and daddy saying the same thing about us being native here, or being aboriginal, more specific, that they're hearing us say. So all those talking points are starting to die down. The same thing when I just mentioned the Roly Potent Martin situation, where he basically just stole our whole flow, stole our whole talking points, that we can't be deported, that we are not a group of people that have to worry about that situation. When they saw that more and more of these situations are showing us to be truth tellers and not liars, they couldn't do nothing but come up and take our talking points, in the very same way that Amanda Seals took our talking points and went over there to that Jubilee situation and argued tether on tether crime, but still argued using our talking points. We're not just changing the course of the country. We're changing the rhetoric of the country. And as long as we keep our foot on the gas, it's going to be all up in those tethers, ASS. No worries. My brother, Professor, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna be real quick. Then I'm gonna drop down. The last speaker was talking about he alleged some type of government operation with foreigners coming over here, and I wanted to somewhat confirm that. In 2024, was it 24? 23. I did some work in West Africa. I helped them to build a school in Ghana and a library near Togo. And I talked about that earlier when they said we need books, we need this, and I got them all that stuff in my spare time. Then try to ship it off, and they were like, "No, give me the money." Like, it pissed me off to the ninth power. But my point of bringing this up, I spent that whole summer there, and throughout the summer, I met some real writers in Ghana. And I'm not talking about in a crowd of big cities with the money people; those are the traders. I'm talking about in the jungles. Those people were writers, man, no cap. But they all had the same story. They were like, "Can we get over there? Can we get in your school, please? Can you give me?" And I was like, "Yeah, we can figure something out." And all of them were like, "No, they don't. The United States won't let us over there. They block us." They were like, "The United States only lets people who are connected get over there." And what I found out is the people that get visas from West Africa are people connected to families who friggin' sold us, families who are connected with European government. So hell yeah, these people coming over here just to get cleared to come over here and go to school, just to get cleared to come over here and do business. It seems as though they have to have vitriol towards Black Americans. So you're on to something, brother, and I'm dropping down.
Shout out to our brother, Professor, always bringing that scholarly information, because yeah, that's what we were talking about a few spaces ago. And I remember this clearly, where one of the brothers who worked for the airport, who told us that they actually was thinking that the video that they're showing in order to get in this country isn't really a video teaching them about the Americas, but basically telling them who to stay away from, who to target, who to not be around. So much love to you, family, for saying that. Sam, you wanted to say something, then we're going to go to our sister Natural Torah, and then Cool Keezy.
Okay, yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, one thing I did want to add too, about that narrative, also with us claiming our identity, us taking our power back and saying who we are, that really breaks this whole narrative of, these tethers are better than us. They perform better than us. They've been riding on that a long time. That's kind of been they're standing on the rock point is, we do better, we come over and we just do better. And then with conversations like these, and all the scholarlies in here and people who real good at research, we find out that really what it is the government is just helping you more. You guys are actually getting handouts and set asides, and we're kind of pushed out. So, now we also find out, well, you're not really better than us. You don't really perform better than us. You just get to kind of skip the line. And, now that destroys that whole narrative. So, what self-esteem do they have left with us claiming our identity this way? And that's another thing I wanted to bring up. Thanks.
Much love to you, family. And I would have to say, just as a, little critique to what you said, we're not just now finding out, we already knew. And that's why we've always sent our people over there to help them, and they've never sent anybody over here to help us. That has been a real situation. We've always used our intellect, we've used our manpower, our muscle, our political cachet to speak up for all these other people. So yeah, I wouldn't say that we're just now finding out that they're not better than us. We already knew this, because if they were better than us, then they would have been out here speaking up on all these issues. They would have been coming here trying to make sure that, we're all on the same footing and everything that is oppression is eliminated. No, you can't be better than us and you don't call out the oppression. you can't call out what's happening to foundational Black Americans here in the country that you immigrated to. So there's no way in the world any of these people can be better than us when they don't have the morality to be better than anybody. That's just the facts. If you don't have the morality to call out oppression, if you don't have the morality to say what's going on here in America when it comes down to foundational Black Americans versus the government, many of these people come over here and they start talking as if, you know, thank heavens for the Nabisco. If this is a Nabisco country and without them, we wouldn't be allowed over here, negating the fact that we had to fight the Nabisco and beat the Nabisco in order to get that immigration bill signed by the Nabisco that opens the door for these people to come over here to kiss the butt of a Nabisco, to lay on the lap and get a head pat from the Nabisco. So with that being said, family, that's the only critique I would have, because like I said, if you were better, then you would be better. And we consistently have shown historically there is nobody outside of America that has the same skin tone that we have that's better than us when it comes to fighting white supremacy. That's better than us at calling out white supremacy in all its forms. That's better than us for wanting to eliminate the system of white supremacy and in its place put up a system of justice, in the words of our brother Neely Fuller Jr. None of these people have shown themselves to be better. All they have shown themselves to be are leeches. My sister Natural, it's on you.
Oh, what I wanted to say is what I noticed since the Chicago raid on the timeline with these tethers, they're always calling us divisive, but I've seen the most disrespect. Oh, you FBAs don't stand on nothing. Y'all real quiet about this. They zip tying babies, this and that. They be strong and wrong on this timeline, but they don't never come in these spaces. Y'all have so much to say, and then you turn your comments off because somehow in y'all mind you think disrespecting us and shaming us is going to get us to come put a cape on. We said no. We're not doing it. Even if we was going to do it, I mean, that's how you know you ain't us, because what our grandparents and parents used to tell you, you get more bees with what? People, they must go to the Roland Martin school of disrespect, because the disrespect that I've seen, and that's not even Black American, and the video don't even go to what they was trying to show on there of that child being zip tied, and you know, it just goes to show how desperate y'all are. But why haven't none of y'all come in this space? Y'all be strong and wrong on this timeline. Y'all so disrespectful on the timeline because y'all can turn your comments off. Bring your behinds in here and let's hear what you got to say. But you know why? Because the only time you come in here is when you're cosplaying. You never could come in here straight up and y'all talk about unity. You can't have unity with people that are liars and scammers, because that's the only way y'all deal with us. Bring your behinds in here and say the stuff that you say on the timeline and tell us, why should we be going out there putting a cape on for these illegals? And why y'all lying? Come in here.
Absolutely, my sister. They lie because that is in their nature. They love to talk about what's in our culture. I've seen nothing but a culture of lying from these people every now. They might not do it over there. I don't know what they do over there, but once they step foot over here, yeah, you don't find that many. And I'm not going to say that it's all, because then that would be being hyperbolic. But what I will say is the majority of the people who float they over here, who fly that's over here, excuse my French, let me calm that down, who just bring themselves over here, no matter whether by inner tube, by plane, by digging a tunnel. These people have an anti-Black vitriol against us. And that's what it is. And there is really no way you can just ignore that, especially during the time where we're fighting for the tangibles that's really owed to us. Everybody want to be involved. Everybody wants to be included, but they want to exclude us from every single thing that they do. And they're over here in our land. This is a thing that we need to just pin up at every black person's house. Let's just put this saying up, just like how we have those welcome mats. We need a saying pinned up in every foundational Black American's house that says, if you disrespect us, you're on your own. When you come over here, you hold your own. And if you expect to disrespect us, expect that back tenfold. All of that, that'll end all the nonsense to be 100 with you. Because it seems like we got to recalibrate a lot of the issues that we were raised to believe. But if we had that plaque in every foundational Black American's house every day, every single day, that will help us recondition ourselves. No matter how bad you feel for the next group, always remember that that next group showed you disrespect, so that disrespect should be tenfold. Always remember that they're here in our country disrespecting us. We're not over there in theirs disrespecting them. Always remember, because if we keep that in mind, if the tree remember what the axe did to it, it will never trust the axe again. Cool Keezy, my brother, it's on you.
I appreciate that. Peace to the family. And you
Wait,
know
real quick, before you get started, family, happy birthday to you, my brother. I hope it was all it was supposed to be.
Thank you. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it's fly. Just a regular day, really. But I'm gonna tell you like this, man. The deportations and all that. We got all the tools. Our ancestors been told us how to deal with all this, as far as with the tethers and everything. All right, yeah. You know, our ancestors, what I was saying is our ancestors gave us the keys to the game. They gave us the knowledge. And it reminds me is that saying is all skin folk ain't kinfolk. And we been knew that, you know what I'm saying? So when you see these tethers up here with the same type of skin, we the only group that on the planet that you can refer to as the people with the soul food, and that's why they got the new term now, the soul line and all of that. That's cool. You know what I mean? But they're still talking about a specific group of people. You know what I'm saying? That you can't, and that soul and that spirit match with this melanin over here. These people over here, we different. See now, and this just goes to show over and over the outcome of what happens to you when you get detained is different from the outcome of what's gonna happen to me. They gonna run my name and send me on about my business. You finna get on that plane and get on back home before the street lights get on. And that's where I see it as, like, our ancestors basically did lay it out for you. You gotta just trust what some of the ancestors put out for us. They laid it out real smooth for you, because that's what it reminds me of to the fully. And you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna land right there. I ain't gonna go ahead and elaborate too much.
My brother Alpha, you want to touch on that?
Absolutely, positively. Shout out to everybody in here, man. Much respect. This is a vibe right here, certified vibes in your area. And that's what we doing right now. There's a lot of love in the building. My good brothers and sisters all bring something to the table. We all do a little, we all do a lot, and we all doing a lot. So what does that tell you, family? So shout out to my brother Church, Natural, my brother Chris, shout out to Cool Keezy, everybody that's speaking. Because one thing that we've been doing, my good brothers and sisters, is that we ain't been bogged down by negativity and all them negative vibes out there, all them haters and them naysayers. That stuff don't stop nothing. We too focused right now. We too focused, and we going different places. Foundational Black Americans who are dominating in the education world, they're going to the top of that world. Foundational Black Americans who are dominating in the economic world, they're going to the top of that world. That's how we have to do it. So no matter where you are, family, we are coming up, and we coming up quickly as a lineage heritage, and culture. So dismiss all them negative haters, you know what I'm saying, all them negative vibes. Them people are just miserable, and you let miserable people be exactly where the hell you find them at, and that's the gutter. So keep doing your thing, my good brothers and sisters.